Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. It's now Pike going to have a go at Werrell. Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Good evening, ladies and gents. Hello and welcome to round number 5 of the Premier Gaming Gear Direct Australian GT3 Endurance Championships. Scotty Rankin once again behind the microphone alongside of Jimmy Parfit. And tonight's racing action, we are going to be heading to the Autodromo Internacional de Algarve, better known to the world as Portimão or the roller coaster. There is going to be a lot of up and down. The cars have got to be able to crest the hills. The loads through some of the dips are going to be exceptional. But got to have a car that tracks well. Got to have good braking performance, long radius corners for a lot of the parts here, and this one's all about driver skill. There are so many different places that the car can get away from you here tonight, JP.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be one of them circuits, I think, although people will deny it. But the man himself has already confirmed Porsche will do Porsche things. It's one of them corners here this evening. You've got to be gentle on the throttle. You've got to make sure you can get through the corners successfully, and you've got to make sure that you can get your overtakes done. Now, we've obviously got a lot of people out on track at this moment in time for the warm-up. We're going to have even more come out for the race, of course. I think we're topping north of 40 drivers out on track. It's going to be very interesting how this one handles it. Got a bit of a different lineup. Got myself and you on comms, and we've got Mr. Pete Baxter, who's going to be our Ted Kravitz of the PEL this morning, who's going to be diving between team chats and bringing us some information. He's joined us in the booth. Pete, welcome in.
Thank you, gentlemen. I mean, calling me Ted Kravitz or the Larko of this series is probably a bit too generous, but anyway, yes, I'm here and I have a new role tonight, and that's to bring you a little bit of insight from some of the behind the scenes. And I can tell you that, you know, that the insight from the drivers that I have talked to already is Dean Mackay. He's been doing a lot of practice and he's going to be the one to beat tonight. He's the dude that's out there. But, mate, I did my own driving and I did my own practice, JP and Scotty, and I tell you, this is the one track that I won't say Porsches won't do Porsches things. And in fact, I'll actually call it out and say other cars might do Porsche things tonight, because there is some really difficult corners on this track tonight. It's quite technical. It's ups and downs. There's brakings on, there's brakings on inclines, and there's brakings as you come off the throttle. There's understeer as you come out of corners. It's such a technically wonderful track. A simple setup doesn't do it, and it takes a lot of practice to go fast.
It's going to be an interesting one, Scotty, here tonight as well. And I think, to be fair, it's, well, it could be very, very exciting indeed.
That's the thing. This is a driver's track too, and I get the feeling, whilst it is challenging, it's also going to be one of those ones whereby the drivers get to really step it up and have a crack, and, well, it is difficult, but there's a lot of runoff area that, if you make a mistake, there's a lot of room to explore to save and rescue the car. It's not going to be, you know, run it off and things go wrong. The big one I think is going to be there is a slowdown penalty off of the outside of turn 1. So if you do run a little bit too wide, remembering incident points not necessarily worth tracking, you can pick yourself up a slowdown penalty. And a lot of the corners double back as well. So, you know, particularly sort of right in the middle of the lap before you head down to the slow final sector, you can take a shallow line, you can take a wider line. It's going to be about setting up the overtake, which is quite critical. Turn 1's not actually an overtaking opportunity as much as you think it is. You sort of got to be 75% alongside to think about going side by side through turn 1. Otherwise, you're just better off backing out.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. They're going to have to be careful, aren't they? And it's one of the tracks that's going to be renowned for difficult to overtake it on. And you know, we get them like Catalonia's another one as well. Jerez's another one. It seems to be the Spanish and Portuguese circuits are a lot more difficult to overtake on, I think, on this one, Pete.
Oh, absolutely, mate. I've driven this track in the Supercar. I haven't raced it in the GT3. I haven't raced it in the Supercar. There are some really good overtaking opportunities, but you've got to come out of corners right to be able to get over that. And Scotty's absolutely spot on. If you don't get the drive out of the corner, you haven't got the spot to overtake, and you're going to take a massive risk to do it. So it really comes down to it's not as tight as others. There are some really, you know, there's some really good legitimate spots. Turn 1, not so much. Probably turn 3 is a good spot. Turn 5 is a great spot. And then, and if you can come out and get on the straight, you might be able to get an overlap and a really good set of overlap down the straight and just do a drafting overtake. But, it's a wonderful technical track. There's some ups and downs. I think brilliant that iRacing has brought this to us, because I tell you what, I've driven it a couple of times this year and I'm like, wow, good fun track, yeah.
Well, everything is now in the books in terms of qualifying and race preparation. We are going to be into our gridding phase. And Pete Baxter was down there and talking to the Ventral M Sport by TSR driver. And the big thing is he's got pole position and got it by some margin. Half a second for pole position from Dean Mackay from Stewie Shaw, will be on Revolution Racing on his outside. Jean McClellan is going to be a new entry to the series on the second rail of the grid off alongside of Tommy Wallace teammate Dean Mackay, but he's 6/10 back off of his teammate. Rain Campbell from Sam Chapman out of row number 3. Alan Dawson and Eli Donaldson are going to round out row number 4. Isaac Curtis, the fastest of your Challenger class drivers, inside of the top 10, alongside of Owen Coleman to round out your 10. Trent Allen and Daniel Magri just outside of the 10. Means that it's the first of the non-Porsche or Audi drivers. Then we get back to Matt Carrick from Nick Wood, Matt Webber from Brock Cat-Eye, Vinnie Newen and Benjamin Brook, the second place of the Challenger class drivers, out of 18th spot. James Mason, Eric Benson round out your top 20. Outside of there, Ben Jeffrey from Alfonso Latella. We're going to have a long pacing lap here tonight as well, ladies and gentlemen, so it will be the entirety of the circuit under safety car procedures. I have a feeling they've just pulled off in front of the field. So Glenn Another from Adam Jepson round out your top 12 rows into 24th spot. So from there on back, from 25th, we're going to have Ricky Provenzali in the middle of the field. It'd be a difficult spot for him to fight his way out of. Dean Reddit from Jamie Sachs, third in the Challenger class. Keep your eyes on the green entries drivers. Nick Bottrell from Adrian Gretsch, Mitch Hobbs, Martin Hallinan, Stefan Mellis from Kurt Nommensen, Sean Bonici, Jesse McMenamin, Nathaniel Coburn round out of top 36. We'll get all the way back towards the 40s now, where it's going to be Brandon O'Loughlin from Bobby Camo, Matt Camley, Jimmy Middleton right towards the tail end of the field. Looks like he didn't get a representative lap time in there. Martin Lepsky, Chris Withers, Andrew Dutch failing to set a qualifying time means he's going to be off the rear end of the field in 43rd.
And it's going to be very, very difficult for Dutchy. I think this time it's coming all the way from the back end there, so he's going to try and make his way through. In lap forward is Mr. Dutch, and it could be interesting to see how he gets on. But just so Dean Mackay out on pole position as they go through now Torrey Vip, and then on that run out into Sampson here once again. Could be going to be an exciting one to watch some of these drivers get through. Obviously, we've got the challengers, a couple of the challengers, Brooke and Isaac Curtis mixing it up with the elites at the front, Scotty. So how's that going to go down?
It's going to be difficult to navigate, I think, throughout the start. I think the big key to this one, JP, is actually going to be keeping an eye on the start into this race. A lot of GT3s trying to feed down into that first complex on lap number 1, chomping at the bit. There's a lot of opportunity to gain a lot of spots, a lot of opportunity to lose a ton of spots too.
Yeah, I think that turn 1 after the restart is going to be interesting. They're going to have to see how they get on, whether or not they're going to handle going through turn 1 without any problems, because they got the right-hander on Lagos at after the turn 1 as well. It's fast sweeping right-hander. It's not really a slow right-hander going into turn 1, and then you got 2 and 3. But yeah, a lot could go on, and I just hope that they all make it through.
Things, and just keeping an eye on, there's just a little bit of shuffling around in the pack as well. Car 777, which was James Mason, had a penalty to serve the previous race and didn't get that one served, so for that he's been forced to start rear end of the field, so he's slotted all the way back down the tail end. So now everyone's just shuffling themselves back through. The pace car is going to feed itself off out of this final couple of corners, and have a look at the drop away now at turn 14 as they sort of start to fall tail end of the lap. Can wear both ends of the car out in terms of tyre life tonight, so they'll have to look after it. They'll have to make sure that they're nice and settled in. Will straight line pace be the critical factor? Well, it seems traction is going to be the critical factor here. Everyone's getting themselves set now for a race start. Final corner. Race car's going to feed itself off to the right-hand side a shot. And we are now in the hands of Dean Mackay. No overtaking until you cross after that start-finish line as well. You can overlap, but you cannot overtake, and they're going to go racing. Stewie Shaw didn't get a great getaway. That's going to allow Tommy Wallace to pull alongside. Green flag in the air. Run down to turn number 1. Wallace is still going to try and go the long way round, but cold tyres on the Porsches, they're pinching each other in on the run to turn 1. Are they going to be able to fight it on through? Look a little bit further back. It's just about 3 and 4 wide on what is a narrow, loaded section of the course. Everyone's going to have to be given way. Shaw's going to try and hang on to the spot. Team Mackay got through.
Yeah, there's been something off the side of the circuit as well on that one. Mitch Hobbs has also had a little bit of a moment further down the order, but Mackay got away at the start. It was imperative that he got away at the start. He had to get away first. There's a big old lunge from fourth place man Eli Donaldson as well. He's got Rain Campbell alongside him, 2 wide further back all the way through. You can see the back stragglers almost coming through to Stefan Mellis just on the shot as well, down 1 place. Well, he's now down where he is at the moment. James Mason down 14 places. Of course, we know that he had to start from the back of the grid, but Dean Mackay did what he had to do at the moment. He got away at the front, and now holding a 1.4 second lead, absolutely flying.
Yeah, and clear air being a crucial part of this one, but Stuart Shaw got fought for a long time there. Sean McClone was one of the cars that's didn't get a good getaway. He's dropped a ton of spots in the opening couple of laps. And now it's going to be trying to settle down in. Rain Campbell's managed to pick himself back up a couple of spots. Eli Donaldson quite close up underneath his rear wing. So McLaren's fallen all the way to 9th spot at the moment. But everyone exceptionally close together. Jimmy Middleton's gained a whole bunch of spots down towards the tail end of the field. Currently sits about 1.5 seconds at the drift. There's a bunch of cars back there. Something big happened on lap number 1. I'm sure we're going to have another look at it. So, Guy leads. Got a good margin from Wallace. All try and settle themselves down in. Owen Coleman looking to try and make himself some moves. Just trying to slice his way through on the run through first couple of corners. And I think he might have picked up a spot too.
Yeah, there is a couple of incidents, but it's whether or not they're just all from checking up or they actually did have a problem. One of the names on that list of problems is Mr. Andrew Dutch. I don't know if he just got checked up or what the situation was, but there was obviously an issue in front. Adam Burhop's back into the pits. No, Dutchy actually did go round all on his own. There was also a couple of other people having their own problems. Nathaniel Coburn with Brandon O'Loughlin, Jesse McMiniman. There's the incident in front there as well. So we'll see. I think that might have been Jesse McMiniman's moment, where he gets strung up, but there's a couple of people there already gone round in front of us. So yeah, there's a couple of problems at the back, but most of it, everybody else getting through. Jesse there having his own little issue, but Dean Mackay at the moment flying away at the start. We're joined by Mr. Pete Baxter. Pete, what you got for us?
Hey, looking at the start. Hey, look, I had a chat with a few guys, and most of the dudes that are fighting in the top 10 there are looking at Dean Mackay, and they reckon that he's done some superb practice to get his pace up, and I reckon he's going to be really, really hard to beat. I was just checking the turn 1, lap 1 stuff there, and it looks like Jepson and Latella have come together lap 1, turn 1. I don't know what's going to come out of that from a race control perspective, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to keep going through that lap 1 and see if anybody else made any difference. But you're right, Jimmy Middleton has jumped from nowhere to P30 or P20s in the top 30, right? And for Jimmy, that's good, because he was for now, he was starting 40th. So good chunk of positions, and away he goes. But anyway, we'll see how we go. Leave to you, boys. I'll be back later.
Yeah, I think that was Chris Rivers having an issue there in the Porsche. He had to check up. There was a car in front. The big that is a poor rejoin. If that's Martin Howland. That is.
So I was going to say that.
That is
looks
poor.
like his Ferrari.
Oh, he's dived up the inside. It's this. It's not that. It's that. That's the problem there. And he's just stacked everybody up as Martin Howland straight into the back of him. So be interested to see what comes out of RC on that one. But Isaac Curtis currently leading the Challenger class, and he's got about 6 places before we can get to Benjamin Brooks. So a couple of people who have gained quite a lot here off the start. On the left hand side you can see there as well, Benici up 10, Middleton up 11, McCamley up 9 places. You got Wallace 1, Chapman 2, Donaldson 2, Coleman 3. Racing incident for car 197, Brandon O'Loughlin lap 1 for causing a incident, but it was a deemed a racing incident, and Coleman up 3 places as well. So lots happening already at the start, but it's kind of predicted here, Scotty. We did say that.
Yeah, it's realistically the best opportunity to get yourself out there and try and pick up a number of spots, and some drivers have really taken the best advantage of that one. So we're having a little bit. Jean McClone is the guy that sort of lost a fair way and without an incident on lap 1, turn 1. Meantime, Sean Bonici's up 10 spots, so he's doing quite well.
Benson's just gone into the pits there, Scott. I'm not sure why he went into the pits, but he's in the pits. Hasn't come back out as of yet.
Damage to that car, and I do have an update for you on the Adam Jepson Adam Burhoff, my apologies. Burhoff joined the server exceptionally late. So late, he didn't set a qualifying lap. He wasn't out there for the warm-up, nor the pacing lap, nor the first lap of the race. We didn't get into the server to start, so he's 1 lap down.
Yeah, he is at the moment. He's there in that Mustang. He is at the back, just gone past Stefan Mellis, unlapping himself. Looks like Benjamin Brook has unfortunately had a bit of a moment. He's sat on the side of the circuit. I wonder if this is one of these things that Pete doesn't like admitting, but I've got a funny feeling this Porsche probably did this on his own. There we go.
No, he's turned that in a little bit too hard.
Yeah, he's carrying far too much speed on that one, I think. Unfortunately, it looks like Mason has also had an issue as well. So James Mason's night goes from bad to worse, as he has had a moment in that Mustang. So lots of problems going on for a couple of drivers already. One man not got an issue at this moment in time. Dean Mackay out in front, currently flying by 3 seconds.
Puts another 7/10 on the field on that lap. The critical factor would be if you can look after tyres. One of the things I want to pitch to the man who's just walked back into the room, Pete, talk to me about tyres and fuel tonight, because the left-hand tyres around here cop an absolute beating.
Oh, I think all tyres cop a beating around here tonight, but let's talk about fuel firstly. So, one of the things I'm really always on about is strategy into our race. 60% fuel tanks tonight, so the guys have got 35 to 37 minutes worth of fuel, depending on whether they save, whether they don't, whether they got the draft. So we're looking about the sort of third, just after the 35-minute mark, to start seeing where the pit stops come in. That's about lap 22 or 22 laps in this race tonight, and that's at full throttle green light. So if we get a safety car, obviously that's going to be extended. Tyres tonight, well, mate, there is massive corners. There's massive right-handers, but there's also really fast left-handers. And I think we've got to sort of stick on the fact that, a GT3 tyre, if you bring them in right, if you bring them in nice and slow over a lap or two, And from what I watched from that one, nobody did, right? You bring them in nice and slow, they're going to last the hour really cool, and they'll be down to about 65%, maybe the 70 to 50% mark overall, depending on how much you've treated them, and you get them and change them. So at 60%, you come in, you get 60% fuel, you can cover the tyres. I don't think tyres are a big deal tonight. The strategy is fuel strategy, 35 minutes. That's a two-stopper, maybe a little fill if we need to, but I think we're looking at a two-stopper to get through the rest of it.
Righto, so you reckon 2 knots? You reckon 2 not 3? So no splash and dash.
2 with a splash and dash, depending on whether we get safety car. It's right on that. It's right on that threshold, right? If you're the kind of driver that can save fuel, and Scotty, you and I know that some people driving GT3s or V8s or whatever can save an enormous amount of fuel driving these cars around lap. You might get away with it, but I think there is a splash and dash because every other two-stop has been 40 minutes plus, right? So there've been 65% tanks, 70%. That 5% difference puts us right on that window of safety car. You might be able to get there at the right time. Non-safety car, then you're going to have a third stop and a splash and dash. But how big is that splash and dash? So if you're smart with your fuel, your splash and dash is 2 or 3 seconds. If you're not smart with your fuel and it's green flag all the way, your splash and dash might be a 5 to 10 seconds. That's time on the track that you've got to make up, which is the hardest time on the track to make up. So, this really comes down to how much you practice and how you go. And we can see tonight, have a look at the guy at the front, the Master Demon guy tonight. He looks like he's getting out there, but is he saving fuel? Is that last splash and dash going to cost him a little bit at the end if it's green flag all the way? And one of the things about this track, nice big wide open circuits, so if a car goes off, hits the fence, doesn't necessarily mean a safety car's going to come out, because race control might deem that plenty of room there to get that car cleared, race can go on and green flag all the way.
I'll be betting money on it being green flag all the way, and big question to the drivers to be posing is who's paying the fuel bill? If it's me as a driver and around they go, Bobby Camo.
Yeah, he's just got a penalty, unfortunately, for Bobby Camo as well, causing an incident on that one. He's just had an incident with Matt McCamley. Funny enough, both of them in Porsches, Pete.
Well, that's going to happen, mate. I did say this is just a track where I don't think it matters what car you're taking, because I come out here even in the Merc today and had to drive around, and that's a big front engine, big V8 car, and I was still losing the back end as I got around. Now, admittedly, I just throw in the high downforce sprint setup that iRacing offers because, I don't sort of set it up for the race. But, when I found that, a big front engine car was doing that, where I expected it would understeer in these tight corners, I'm like, okay, this is going to be a race where you've really got to, have your car set up right and have done enough practice. Because if you overshoot a brake marker, if you overshoot something or you miss something, your car is going to turn around. It's going to cost the driver the race. So, smart drivers and those that practice, that's what's going to pay off tonight.
Yeah, we've just seen a couple of incidents there. Sean Benici getting involved with Braden O'Loughlin on that one. Foles, answer to your question, Andrew Dutch is down in 39th at the moment. Jimmy Middleton, however, up 16 places in that Ford Mustang. He is, believe it, out the field. He's the second Ford in the race. Trent Allen is the lead Ford at the moment, but Jimmy is there in second place in that Ford Mustang as well, and he's got Benjamin Brook applying pressure on him at this moment in time. So, but a couple of incidents with Sean Benici and Brandon O'Loughlin. That's going to see what comes out of RC of that one, I think, as well, Scotty, because that did look a little bit messy from Benici going in through turn 1.
Yeah, it certainly did. And tough and tricky. And it's just having a rain gamble, by the way.
Still there with Tommy Wallace.
So he's just gotten a little bit of contact, I think. So there was some discussion about whether or not racing room was left, but we'll have to resolve it out on track. Campbell's picked himself up a couple of spots at this point in time. Sitting quite nicely. Yeah, Donson will be teammate chasing. Wallace will be meeting that little sandwich, and there's a big old pack that's stuck together here as well. Take a ride on board. This is such a difficult. See how late you've got to tip the car into this corner. You can go shallow, but you're going to wash up and have no exit speed. You've got to carry the speed right the way through the corner. Any saving going on at the moment? Yeah, a little bit from Eli Donaldson. That's not the mega kind of saving that you over a 35 to 37 minute stint. It's going to find you that extra 3 minutes. By the way, one extra lap worth of fuel over 37 minutes is going to get you right up to about 38 and 3/4. So you're only about a minute shy. So that's the numbers we're sort of looking at, talking about at the moment. Stuish was not going with Dean Mackay at the moment. 5 seconds now the lead is out to. 4.5 back to Ray Campbell from there. Quite loaded. You've got to carry all the curve around here too, Jacob. If you're not using all that curve, you're sacrificing speed.
Yeah, you've got... Oh, didn't carry too much speed then. This is one of these circuits where you can go right the way out. As long as you're not crazy stupid with them and put all 4 wheels over the white line, you can literally run quite a lot off. You can take that a little bit tighter as well. There's a curb on the inside as long as you don't loop on the sausage curb. The same on some of the other parts of the circuit. Again, you come left, take a little bit more of that than he actually did. Go right as well. There's a lot curb there. Drive-through penalty from 28 Martin O'Halloran. Unsafe re-entry. Well, I agree on that one. That was an absolute ludicrous re-entry from Martin Howland, unfortunately, on that one, and spun it up and put it in front of 4 cars and got hit. But yeah, you've got to let the car run. This is one of these where you've got to open up that steering. You have to. You can't keep tightening it up. You can take a lot more on the left-hand side there as well. Hug it into the left here if you can. Now let it open up a bit too much on the outside. In fact, he carried far too much speed. He got that a little bit too wrong. Did Eli on there and got a little bit close to Tommy in front of us. Again, this one, if you really need to, you can loop a little bit here as well and keep it tight in. Now you've got to open it up, go all the way to the left. There you go. Now you're bringing it back in again because you've got this dip that's going to pull you round and then run it straight off. And now you're on that straightaway. That last corner is very much a bit like Galgenkopf at Nords with that final corner before you get onto the Dottinger Hoe. It's looping, it's downhill, you can carry a lot of speed as long as you keep it on there, and that's what they've got to be able to do here this evening as well. But yeah, there's a lot of places where you can just let it open up a little bit more. Use all the track. You paid for the track, you might as well use it all, and that's what a couple of these guys are going to have to do.
So just keeping an eye on a few things. You've seen instant Ben Jeffrey's just been through the pit lane. Unfortunately, meatball flag picked up for Ben Jeffrey.
Yeah, I think he had an incident before that. Hold on 2 seconds, It could be this one. No, it's going to be this one.
He's had a few incidents.
Yeah. Here we go with Brandon O'Loughlin. He's going to go check up here. Yeah, and then it's all stacked. Oh, that was scrappy. But that all stemmed, if you had a look, that all stemmed from them checking up in front. You can see it all start, and then he's just got nowhere to go. Look, there's check up, check up, check up, check up. He's got nowhere to go. He tries to take it free wide, bang, the Porsche comes across, hits him, and around he goes into the barrier. So that was kind of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other on that one, I would have thought on there. But currently at the moment, track temperature 27 degrees centigrade, air temperature 23, and we're at 3:30 in the afternoon. No further action for Nick Bottrell on lap 2 for causing an incident.
Hey boys, I just come out with a chat from the boys. Eli Donaldson following Tommy Wallace. He was watching there, and he watched Rain get through on Tommy, and he's really trying to get through on Tommy. He knows that Tommy's probably protecting the line a bit to protect Dean Mackay up front. But the boys in that team are thinking that, yeah, it's a 2-stop if they can get away with it. But Eli's really just trying to clear Tommy here so he can get in behind, tuck in behind Rain, and just get on with it, and they can save fuel quite fast.
The interesting one for me at the moment here, I've got to be honest, is Jimmy seems to be doing rather well. He has actually pulled away from Benjamin Brook, so whether or not Jimmy's actually put some practice time on the racetrack here, but he has actually opened up a gap to Ben Brook. Mason's just about to clear Brook on the inside going into... All right, no, it's not. He needed to be a little bit braver there, did James Mason in that BMW, and he could have sent it up the inside. But yeah, Jimmy doing well, 18 places. The biggest gainer on the racetrack. So if nothing else for Jimmy, he's going to gain at the one with the most overtakes. How many were active, or how many was avoiding some of the chaos? Well, it don't really matter for Jimmy. He's sitting second in third, in Challenger class. Mitch Hobbs has just had a crash and jumped straight back to pit lane. So unfortunately for Mitch, it's looking like he's just had a little bit of an issue here as well. But yeah, action all the way through, and Jimmy doing rather well. Oh, that was so slow. It's one of them awkward spins, isn't it, where you just sit there thinking, oh, that's annoying.
I don't think he just said he didn't intend it to, which I believe, because well, he wanted to just keep going. So either way, he's cost himself a lot. Just keeping an eye on Middleton's lap times. I think he sort of stagnated out a little bit. But I think one of the biggest keys is around here. You can just see Tommy Wallace is pushing that Porsche quite hard, and Donaldson looking for an overlap. Can't quite get it. Now he's going to get checked up in the back end behind. He's going to have a crack at him. Sam Chapman senses an opportunity, tries to go around. Can't line that one up, and now he's going to get an opportunity as they come onto the middle straight on the lap. Will get some overlap. Will get to the inside. So Donaldson's gone from being the aggressor to being on the defense. It's not quite done from these guys as well. Next complex is back to the right. So that will at least offer Eli Donaldson an opportunity to hang on to this one. This is going to protect Wallace for a little bit longer. Donaldson's still got this. Only just. As Chapman's going to try and go the long way round. Does he manage to hang on to the spot out the other side? Yes, he has for now. And now it's going to swap back to Owen Coleman being the guy that's going to go and have a crack. Left hand. Then you've got the long flowing right hander. Chapman's to the inside of this one. Coleman looking for the switch back, looking for a little bit of drive off. Is going to prevent an opportunity for Dawson now. Now it's going to be the opportunity for Donaldson to pick up a little bit of the sand, and Coleman's going to switch it back down to the inside. Couple final corners here. Does get it down the inside, but again, Chapman's going to challenge him the long way round. Hangs onto it on the outside. Now he gets back to the inside, and Coleman runs it a touch too deep. Dawson gets the opportunity to get the wheels down the inside. It's all it's become. Is whoever goes to the move seems to be the next driver that's going to be on the defensive. Finally, they all sorted out. No one gained a spot. No one lost a spot. Side by side for most of the lap regardless.
Yeah, I think everybody was taking a run at Tommy Wallace if they could, and then Eli Donaldson got involved with that, Sam Chapman and Coleman and Dawson, and then we just had this catalyst of events there. As you say though, nobody lost, nobody gained, and everybody's back where they were. So yeah, they're going to have to try and find another place to be able to make that work if they can on that one. As I said, this circuit is very difficult to overtake. It can be an absolute nightmare at times, so you've got to set it up a couple of corners in advance. There's action down with Jimmy Middleton and Ben Brook.
What a save, what a save. What a save. He managed to hang on to that one somehow. Ben Brook did not hang on to his. And now they're all going to swarm all over the Middleton. He feels a little bit like Jimmy in the middle at the moment. It's down the inside trying to go around. I think that was the lap car, actually.
Yeah, it was Adam Burl.
Involved in mix.
Oh, that's going to be... Oh, dearie me. Aside from that one.
Well, lap car. Normally just sit on the side, save some fuel and do what you can would be my advice, and that's why Burhop's been turned, I guess.
Should you generally sit there though, or should you try and get through? I know you're obviously faster than some of the cars in front, but what do you do in the meantime?
Try and stay on the lead lap. That is or get yourself back to the lead lap is your only goal, and you're never going to drive up and past Dean Mackay. So stay out there, hope for a safety car, because the thing is, at the end of the day, if you're happy to follow a bunch of cars that are slower than you, save the fuel, or you cut yourself out of pit stop, you gain spots anyway. You generally don't gain spots as a lapped car by racing NASCAR is the exception.
I think you are right. I think that's the thing. With NASCAR, blue flag rules don't really apply because you're constantly trying to get the wave around or the lucky dog or whatever you're trying to do to stay up there. And you know, you can be in, especially at some of the pack races like the Dago and stuff like that, you can be in second and be a lap down, and then there's an incident, you get your lap back. So from that situation, that is a different scenario. But road racing, it's, as you said, one of them things of, do you have to get involved? If you really don't have to, and you can just stay there and you can look at eventually overtaking them in the pit stop cycle or something going on to get your lap back, I probably would have looked at that more for Adam Burholt than what actually he did. I think that was a little bit scrappy and messy. Jimmy Middleton and Jesse McMinimum have just gone side by side. I believe McMinimum is going to go through. He is on that run into Torrey Vip there, turn number 5. So Jimmy down a spot, but still sitting 5th in class after obviously the further incident. Stephen Mellis up 7 places as well, up into the podium spot there. Sean Benici up 13 spots. 10-second penalty for car number 777. James Mason on lap 4 for causing an incident. So yeah, unfortunately big penalty there. But this is Sam Chapman, Eli Donaldson and Tommy Wallace.
So they're going to race each other on the run down. The moment, fight it all the way off. That'll be a slowdown penalty for the car going the long way around, which is going to be Sam Chapman, who's going to try and defend and tries to chop the nose off once again. And Chapman's got the elbows out, still trying to hang on to the spot at the moment, crossing him back. Eli Donaldson's going to try and cut it back down the inside. Coleman's looking to line the both of them up. He says, all right, boys, have a crack.
Yeah, he's going to get one on the outside there. Coleman should get Chapman on that run down into the left-hander. However, if Chapman's brave, which he's not, he could have sent it back up the inside, but he's now got Dawson for company in the Audi. As you see there, that Porsche in front from Owen Coleman went a little bit deep. That's going to bring Chapman back into play, of course, through the left-hander of Craig Jones up into Portimão, the top of the circuit, the right-hander at the moment, and Chapman is still tucked in right behind Coleman, not going to be able to make it through this time. Jean McLuhan is also closing in on the Porsche. It's a very Porsche-heavy dominated front end at the moment. Adrian Gretsch looks like he's just had an issue as well, Scotty, unfortunately for Adrian. But yeah, these guys battling out. But why they're battling out, everybody who's got clear of Tommy Wallace, Ray Campbell pulled away, Stewie Shaw's pulled away, and as we know, Dean Mackay is 6.6 seconds out in front.
Yeah, but that margin that Mackay is starting to pull out's lessening. And Pete Baxter's back. Around the traps here, Pete. 26 minutes on the clock now.
Yeah, we're looking like we're coming up to the first round of pit stops, but I can tell you that most of the teams that I've been talking about are trying to get through this race with 2 stops, but they all have a question mark over that. I don't think any of them really have done the maths to be sure that they're going to do it. And I can tell you that having watched some of the battles going on, particularly this battle for 5th to 10th, where the guys are actually fighting each other and slowing down, what they're effectively doing is they're letting P1, 2, 3 and 4, they're letting Mackay, Shaw, Campbell, Wallace, they're letting them just drive away at their own pace whilst they're having their own fight. You know, if clean air means fast times and fighting means slow times, but I can tell you that there's nobody sure whether they're going to do 2 or 3 pit stops tonight. I was having a chat with Jimmy Middleton at the time that he had to come together with Bobby Brook, and they're having a really good scrap and a really good race, and a little bit of a touch at the end, but they're just all having a good time.
Just hearing there's car 418 has been apparently using some extra track areas. So
leave that with me, Scotty. I'll go and have a look and see if I can come back here.
Jamie Saxon will be the driver that'll be involved in that one, so he's going to go off and do some research on for us. But big thing at the moment is fuel saving. Just keeping an eye on Jean McLaren. He's lost track position. But I've been running on board with him the last couple of laps. Has been doing some fuel saving. He's not been aggressive. Everyone else around him has been trying to overtake people. He's just been lifting off.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, you need to kind of just make sure that you're there towards the end of the race, and that's where it's going to open up. Owen Coleman trying to dive out the inside into turn 3. He's got that tight rotation though. That's going to give Donaldson the next inside through the left-hander. If Donaldson's going to come over, he needs to be coming over now to get the inside return whip here, and that is a back marker in front. You're a long way away, mate. Give him a little bit of hope on that one. Sean Strasberg in YouTube chat, you cannot take someone out like that being a lap down. Well, Sean, controversial subject, but yes, I do kind of feel that there might be some issues for Adam Burhop coming his way as that lap car does clear out the way. So yeah, going to be very, very interesting indeed.
Kurt Nommensen was a lap car on that Mustang. But, yeah, and the shoe's now on the other foot from Eli Donaldson, because he pulled away for a little bit at the time and he looked a little bit comfortable, but tyres are certainly going away from him at the moment.
Ooh, no further action.
That was Tommy Wallace. Tommy Wallace and Rain Campbell between those two. So it was the first of those, and now Wallace has sort of settled in and he's looking comfortable. This track is very, very difficult to get the overtake done.
Yeah, Latala's just got his done though on James Mason. They've just passed a few corners back there. Mason obviously pushed in behind. They're currently side by side. There is a car there on the right hand side. There you go as well. But he's got to be a little bit smart in that BMW before he can close in on the Corvette of Latella through the right hander. They go through Galp, dropping right the way down. It's going to be the run down into turn number 1. Ooh, maybe not that wide. Tuck it behind him, son. Over you go. No, follow him back. There we go. And see if he can get it going down. But I don't think if he does take a dive, it is going to be a dive and it could end up going wrong. Matt Webber also fighting it out here as well. And he's having a fight. There's a nice little scrap with Adam Jepson and Glenn Arnott in behind him. So yeah, action breaking away. You see, still got Donaldson, Coleman and Chapman close together. Carrick and Provençali. Not seen much of Ricky today. Webber and Arnott also, and Latella, Mason and Reddit with Mellis closing in as well. So 4 little packs of battles taking place at the moment.
Just watching. Jamie Saxon's found the loophole at the final corner, so we'll have to keep an eye on when Saxon's next up in the final corner and pick that up. But interesting one. He's definitely taken the mickey with track limits, I'll tell you that much. And around goes with another.
Yeah, unfortunately for Glenn in that McLaren, the question was it on his own or was there contact coming in from the car behind for the Twitchy Foot Racing driver? Is he going to close right it? No, it was all on his own, unfortunately for Glenn. No contact whatsoever. Around he went. Jepson is there. McLuhan has gone into the pit lane. First man take the run through the pit stops, but Latella, Mason and Reddit are now very close with Stefan Mellis in the Challenger class. We've still got Wallace and Donaldson and Coleman fighting it out with Sam Chapman. So yeah, action up the front, action at the back, and action in the middle.
Okay, can we just jump to Saxon quickly right now? Just watch this. Watch this. And remember, per league rules, that's illegal. That's actually illegal here at the moment. So,
at the moment,
been deemed race control first. So the way that I look at this is that they are. So there are effectively the way that it's handled is basically slow down penalties on the NC. So there's a lot of discussion, and this dates back to the origins of this league too, about whether or not to include incident point penalties. And the discussion basically amounted to was, no matter if we do include them or we don't include them, well, it's all even. And they wanted just sort of room for everyone in the drivers in the league to make mistakes, run off track, and not necessarily punish for it. And what's the right incident point count? So just went, you know what? Stuff them. No incident point penalties whatsoever. We just want race control to be the ones adjudicating on whether or not there would be a penalty for it. There is a downside to that approach, and that's the downside. So, but it's not right, it's not wrong, it's just different. It's the way that I talk to people about that, and I'm okay with it. Look, I don't care, because what it means from a race controlling perspective is that you're not looking at those sorts of things. It takes too long for a race controller to be watching that for 40 plus cars. So focus on the car-to-car contacts, which they work through and they get those procedurally right. Is that going to fall by the wayside? Yep. Not every system's perfect, and that's working the system over. That's also race smarts.
Yeah, you've got to look at the situation you've got. You can see him doing it again here, just carrying a lot more speed around, and around he goes. Whether or not, as you said, the problem is, I think, it's utilising a system. Now, we've seen this problem before, but I think it's utilising a system to your advantage when some may deem it a bit, I don't know.
Let me jump in, boys. Let me jump in. I've been looking at it. I've been looking at the rules. I've been talking to the guys. And look, you're right. Car 4-1 out is exceeding what we would know as traditional track limits with the white line. He's going outside the white line and he's coming back in. But he is maintaining his driving in the state of the rules, which states all competitors are allowed to make use of the entire track up to the point of an iRacing slowdown being issued. So I'm going to say to you, he's not doing anything wrong. Other people aren't taking the advantage that he is of the rules. So he's exploiting a loophole that PL have allowed. Others are putting that constraint of the white line on themselves and complaining about it. That's not Jamie Saxon's problem, mate. That's everybody else's problem. He's within the rules, and away he goes tonight.
And that's what I'm saying, is it's using the he's looked at the rulebook, he's found something in it, and what team hasn't done that? We've had flexi wings in Formula 1s. Everyone's done it at some different point in time. It's part and parcel of racing.
No, that's it. If you can find a loophole in the rule and you can use it and others don't agree with it, they're going to complain because they haven't realised it before you have. But Jamie's doing everything he right within the rules. He's right to do what he's doing, and he can keep doing it the whole race tonight and cannot be penalised based on the rule set it is. And the thing is, it's going to wake up every other driver to, in practice, to not only just test how they can go fast within the track limits, but to define and test within their own driving where the track limits are up to the point of iRacing slowdown, where they can make use of the track and where they can make use of the Jamie Saxon, that is pure race driver craft. I hate it as a race controller, but that's the kind of thing that drivers do to get under our noses and make advantages with the rules. Well done, that man. Keep going.
JP's sitting in the back of the commentary box, scratching his head.
I'm not. I think, yes, they're exploiting a loophole, but I think purposely doing it, it just doesn't taste right with me. I think they're on that one. There's been a couple of penalties. Jimmy Middleton's copped a 10-second penalty. Justin McMiniman has also got a 10-second penalty for an incident on lap 12. It just doesn't taste right. I've got to be honest, it just doesn't taste right. Yes, it's there and he's exploiting it. It just, for me, it's like drinking coffee and somebody giving you a weak tea. It's not right. It's been said by Ricky before that it's fair play, but if a driver uses it purposely to get a gain, then it would be a penalty. But I just find racing between the white lines, boys, between the white lines.
Okay, well, if it's between the white lines, and there's penalties on a bunch of different tracks as well, so both systems have their flaw. It's not as simple as it is or as isn't. So
yeah,
anyway,
no, I'm not saying that he should get a penalty, that's it, and at the end of the day. But obviously what we generally would say, off tracks are normally 2 wheels outside or all 4 wheels off the over the white line, right? He's racking them up at this moment in time. I tried to think how many he has got. But what we're saying is generally, if you're there and you're using it in a way that, you know, you're doing it on purpose, it's like for somebody to know that that area does not get a slowdown and he can just get an off track, he's gone out and practiced. It's as easy as that. You can't develop, you can't just know that that area isn't going to give you a slowdown where other areas on the racetrack do. And that's the thing. He's been out, he's tested, he's gone out and tested the limits, he's gone out and tested that he can go all the way out where we are now, and he knows he's only going to get an off track for it. So, you know, it begs a question, doesn't it? I think at the end of the day, I've seen this previously in PEL with the European Series. It caused a massive amount of drama, but look, it is what it is. It's there as well on that one.
No, it is what it is, mate. You are absolutely right. Yep, but but that is the league as it is, and Jamie's absolutely found a spot on this racetrack tonight where he can exploit that allowance that is in the league. So we've got to let it go. We've got to allow them to race the way they are racing, and that's the rules that they're racing it. So in fact, it's a rules issue. It's not a race issue. Play on. If the other drivers haven't gotten on to the fact that they can get out there and clock up the infield and make a little bit of speed, who's that on? That's not on Jamie, mate. That's on the other drivers, right? So Jamie's just exploiting the rules for what he can make advantage.
There we go. Moving on, we've got pit stop cycles. Dean Mackay still out in front. Stewie Shaw in second. Wayne Campbell in third place. This is Trent Allen here as well in the Ford, and he's going side by side with Nick Wood in that McLaren at the moment, and he has just made it through. He's going to have the next inside for the right-hander on the run through into Samson here as well. So unfortunately it looks like Kurt Nomerson has had a issue here, but Nick Wood and Trent Allen battling it out. Sam Chapman also there with Eli Donaldson tucked up right behind. Pit stops have gone through. Everybody's had a pit apart from Adam Jepson, I'm showing at this moment in time, but I don't know if that is going to be 100% correct on that one.
Jepson's the DC from the server.
There you go.
Yeah, he's had a crash by the look of things. So unfortunately that'll cost him. And the critical thing is no one made it to 40 minutes, so it will be a 3-stopper. It will be a 2 and a splash.
Yeah. So they've got a plan when they're going to take that splash. That's going to be the question. It will be, when are they going to take it? How long are they going to leave it? Are they going to look, say for instance, in another half an hour, which will give them till about 10 past the hour. Then you've got another one at 22 the hour, 22 the end of the race, of course. So it's there as well. 10-second penalty for Ben Jeffrey for an incident on lap 19. So we are a couple of laps behind from RC, but they have quite a lot to deal with, so they are still trying to come through on that one. But Sam Chapman, Eli Donaldson fighting it out, and we've got Isaac Curtis still leading the Challenger class, and at the moment he's got Nick Wood in front of him with Trent Allen in front of that. So action all the way through the field currently at the moment.
Owen Coleman, I think, has had a speeding and pit lane penalty. He's had a very, very long stop and now sits 20th, so it's going to be a fight back for him. He did. It's a 1 minute 44 pit stop. Everybody else is in around the minute 59, so 40-second stop and hold for Owen Coleman there as well. But then that's another area that people don't practice either, going in and out of the pits, which is probably one of the major areas of where you lose and gain time. It's a religious part of my my NASCAR practice, by the way. I make sure I incorporate that.
You have to, dude. When you're running trucks at Martinsville, you need to know how to get in and out. And generally, though, at Martinsville, you're all right with yellows.
Martinsville, you don't need to. Martinsville's one of the one I don't.
Yeah, the yellow flag normally fetched on that one, but there are times when you do get into a decent mix of field, and you do end up having to take green flag pit stops. I've done a couple myself as well, and obviously did the MX 500 at Martinsville. That was a very interesting development. But I think you're right, there are tracks that you have to practice, and it clearly shows that some have here and some haven't, to stop yourself getting a slowdown penalty. So yeah, interesting.
Meantime, right after the cycle pit stops, Donaldson's come out behind. So he's lost spots through that chain of pit stops from McLaren. Has gained a ton of spots and now sits on a really, really positive little position. Remember, he qualified third, but lost spots by the bucket load on lap number 1. Now tries to cut his way back through with a little bit of strategy.
Yeah.
It's amazing what a couple laps worth of clear air does.
Amazing what a 2 second shorter pit stop does. Because that's what he did. He was 2 seconds short of Chapman and also Donaldson behind. He did a 24.3. Guys behind did a 26.3 and a 26.4 respectively for Eli Donaldson. So yeah, that's why McLaren is a lot further up. How did Jimmy get on after the pit stops? He's now down to 6th in class, and he's got Nathaniel Coburn there.
Interesting one. With the car flashing the lights on the inside and then not pulling the move off. So,
did you see that penalty or that message? There you go, I'll put it up again. No further action for car number 418, Jamie Saxon on lap 16, going off the track and gaining an advantage. Whether or not that was in the last corner, we don't know, but there we go.
Oh, it's definitely in the last corner because it's not happening anywhere else. So
yeah, exactly. So there we go. So no further action.
I think John McLaren is actually starting to make a little bit of time as we're seeing this little battle continue to evolve. And Fencer's going to pick up the spot around the outside there of Mo.
Yeah, it did. It took him a little bit of time to get there, but he did do that. And he's got now Mr. Middleton in his sights. Daniel Magri, who we've not also picked much up on at this moment in time. He is, well, he's just cleared Vinnie Newen, Brooke Cuddy, sorry, as well, after Brooke went in a little bit too deep. And for Daniel Magri, he took the inside line. Job done for him. So yeah, great fights all the way through. Of course, we've still got the Donaldson-Chapman fight. McLaren making his way further off down the front of the field. It's say anybody that clears gets out in fresh air, Scotty, and then they can break away. But Mr. Pete Baxter's back in the booth. Pete.
Yeah, I've got a couple of things to bring you up to date. So race control has come to terms.
Oh, 2 secs.
It's a spin for Eli Donaldson. Unfortunately, he's going to see him drop a few spots right there. Yep. Okay.
Race control has confirmed that the rules interpretations are exactly what we've talked about. The guys can go up to the limit of the iRacing slowdown, which means they can go outside of the white lines and they can race freely. There's no penalties been applied there for Jamie Saxon on those laps that he's did it. And I think what we're going to see is we're going to see some other cars probably try to exploit that a little bit more as they learn places, and I've seen a couple of cars do it. I also jumped in with our series champion, Owen Coleman, and I noted that Owen had dropped about 10 spots through the pit cycle, and what had happened is he hadn't done a lot of practice, hadn't practiced his pit entry, and then overshot it and popped a 45-second speeding penalty in pit lane, so he's down to 19th, and has admittedly said to me he needs a safety car to get back into this race. So boys, the current series champion's feeling a bit of the heat. Hasn't practiced as much as others, and the comment from the series champion Dean Mackay is in a field of his own tonight. Could be hard to beat.
I'm really curious to pick your brain on this one, Pete, after you've been in there and talking to him as well. What was he talking about tyres? He's probably give that a little bit away now that he's sort of a fair way back off, but how's he hanging on to tyres in that car? Because he looked strong at the back half of the previous stint.
To be honest, mate, I haven't talked to anybody who's been concerned about tyres whatsoever tonight. It's really about fuel. I think what a lot of people are trying to do is they're trying to save enough fuel to make it a two-stop race, but I think in the back of their mind,
Nobody's gone far
a full
enough.
green race, nobody's gone far enough, and they all know that there is a splash and dash if there's no safety car. So it's not a tyre race, this is a fuel race, and that's the main thing you need to be aware of. And if you're not saving fuel now in preparation for that last stop or a safety car, then you could potentially be losing spots.
It's a little bit of a loadout. Deeper in the field, in and around Jimmy Middleton. This battle pack continues to evolve. Just keeping an eye on as well. Rain Campbell's one of the few drivers who's gone maybe far enough. Sam Chapman definitely gone far enough. So, out of the top group, Sam Chapman's the only guy necessarily making on fuel. I'm thinking here, JP.
Yeah. I still think there's going to be at least one, maybe two. It depends on when they start coming in for the second one. If they start coming in at 10 past the hour, so leaving them 50 minutes to go, they're going to have to make another stop. It's as easy as that. If they can get it to 20 past the hour, it's going to be touch and go. I've got to just distinct feeling that we are going to have 3. I don't think anybody's going to be able to make it on 2. I think where it's so close on the line, I wouldn't really risk it for a chocolate biscuit, to be blatantly honest with you, Scotty. I would drive flat out, run my fuel out, and then turn around and go, I've got to make stops. Because it's quite a thin line, and if you mess it up by 1 point, or one lap time, or 1 delta, or whatever, you're going to be out of sync, and you're going to have to stop right at the end of the race. So, me personally, I would go for 3 anyway. But then again, Scotty, I'm rubbish at fuel saving, so there we go.
So, we'll just watch and keep playing, because the big critical factor is we've got to get to 40 minutes to go on that timer in the top left-hand corner of your screen. That's the number everyone's worrying about, and the other number JP will be referring to, 50 minutes to go. It's the 50 minutes to go to 40 minutes to go. That period. Just keeping an eye on Sam Chapman, I can tell you he is saving. So he's certainly having a crack at trying to make it work.
I think it's let's jump on board and see what he's up to. Oh, God blimey, he is. But when do you get to the point, Scotty, and realise that actually I'm not? That's the problem. You've either got to really commit to it, or at some points towards the middle of the race, which is where we're at now, you've got to turn around and go, nah, I'm not going to be able to do this. He's got to make a decision by that next pit stop whether or not he's going to be able to get there or not.
Well, you're going to make it before the last pit stop, because it's,
so he's got to make it before the next one. He's got to either decide.
He thinks he can make it, so he's already working well, I would say. So he's already said, I'm committed to doing it here.
I don't know how it's going to get on. We'll see how Chapman gets on that one. Matt McCamley, however, has had a bit of a moment here for Matt from the Odyssey Racing going down into turn 1. He's going to try and stick it underneath, and there's going to be the slightest little bit of contact on the outside there as well. Just not quite enough room given for them guys. So but we'll keep an eye, see how he gets on the next one there as well. Dean Reddick further down, I'm going to battle with Sean Benici. We've still got Bobby Carrera, Ben Jeffrey and Jimmy Middleton having their own little fight a little bit further down. That's for 29th, 30th. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, Jeffrey has just gone past Middleton. He has. Oh, Carrera trying to follow him through as well. Didn't quite make it through that time around.
Yeah, and Kamo's not happy about it either.
Oh, there is a spinner though. Nathaniel Coburn has just gone round in the background in that Ford Mustang. So Nathaniel just going round on that one as well.
So for the meantime, we're all sort of trying to have a crack at each other. This is what happened to Coburn. Whoa.
Too hot.
A little bit hot. Yeah, around goes the rear of the Mustang.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to do that for that Mustang, unfortunately. There's a couple of cars you can't do it with. The Mustang is one of them on that. But we can still not past Jimmy Middleton. Unfortunately, it did look like Jimmy did check up and park it on the apex on that last bit. But there we go. Racing is, what is it we get told? Rubbing is racing. If gap car, defend for your life. So there we go. That's what Jimmy did.
I got told, use your body to field the ball, but hey,
Well,
a different sport. Still applies.
Yeah, you just jump on it and hope for the best.
Body on the line.
Yeah, but I think this is one of the things here. I think sometimes we forget we are racing. You know, look at the things we've seen in race series, you know, Aussie V8s, contact all the way through, BTCC in the UK. Dawson's just gone underneath Chapman, but it probably isn't Chapman's fight at this moment in time if he's trying to save fuel. BTCC, the 90s BTCC was absolutely mental. You know, it's one of them things, isn't it? You're either racing or you're ballet dancing, and it's the same with football nowadays, or soccer, wherever you are in the world and you call it. You know, the 80s, 90s soccer players used to literally, well, 70s and 80s was the most horrendous time in football. You know, you can go and hit somebody and they go straight down on the deck and kick them up in the air. Now, you sneeze on someone, they roll around 10 times, holding their face like they've been shot in the head, and you get sent off for a yellow card. Different makeup of worlds, and this is what we need.
Got an issue. I just heard copy hold position. I didn't hear. It's at the last corner.
Well, the only one that's had an incident there.
Adam Burhop. And he's just been given permission to tow.
Hit this one. Oh,
Yeah, this is it.
big snap. Bang.
What was it? 3 or 4 snaps.
Yeah, he's the problem with that is there was never going to be a safety car if he can't move. He's right by the exit way. So for Adam Burhop, I doubt very much that was going to be a safety car because he was right by the exit way of the racetrack. So there was no need for him to do it on that one.
Hey lads, I've just come back from having a chat with the Twitchy Foot boys, and Brain Campbell is out there. He's pushing hard. He reckons he's gone the pace with the leaders, but he's just lost too much time sitting behind Tommy Wallace and Sam Chapman in those earlier laps. So really, you know, Brain's driving as hard as he can, praying for a bit of a safety car intervention so he can bridge the gap and then get into racing itself. Doesn't think he's going to make it without another stop. But I tell you, the other boys from the Twitchy Foot Racing team, Nick Wood, he's going to try and prove me wrong, mate. He's going to try and get out there and try and do this race in only 2 stops. Nick is on a fuel-saving strategy, currently sitting in P8 as well. So if he can pull it off and save himself a run through pit lane, expect Nick Wood to jump from P8 up to about P5 at least, if he can pull that off. So there are a couple of lads out there, those that pitted on lap 22 later, are going to try and do this in a 2-stop race, but they are admittedly close on fuel, and without a safety car, it's going to be a hard thing to pull off.
Something happened just then to Nick Wood actually, so I'm not 100% sure what it was. It might have been lap traffic related.
Yeah, I think it was just somebody blinking off the screen, some blinking in and out. There are a couple of drivers blinking at the moment, Scotty. I've jumped in and out, and yeah, some of the drivers that I've been on, the connections aren't perfect, but that's what it is in iRacing. It makes it really hard when you're following somebody like that. But yeah, in the main, you know, they're out there racing hard, and you know, all chasing Dean, but they know he's hot-footing it out there. But I reckon they got a chance, but they just need a bit of intervention to make this race a little bit more exciting and bring everyone together.
Well, I can tell you the battle between Mo and Jimmy Middleton still hasn't resolved itself. Middleton's still got the lead. Now it might actually resolve itself because he's finally got a little bit of overlap, got checked up because that was a hole that was going to disappear. It's trying to slide it back down the inside for Kamal.
Yeah, Jimmy's parking what we call here in the UK parking the bus. And, well, that Mustang is pretty much a bus. And he is parking it here at the moment as well. You can see he's not giving Kamo any opportunity whatsoever. If Kamo wants to stick his nose up, I tell you what. Oh, see you later.
Saved it. Saved it. I was just about to say, I think, and the last corner is a place where you can overheat the rear tyres and it can get away from you. And that's the second time we've witnessed that one now.
Now going to lose the place to Saxon on that one for Bobby Camo. So unfortunately for him, well, goes for one and ended up coming down one instead. So yeah, unfortunately on that one. But there we go. That's racing on that one.
And Old Coleman is now done for the day as well. So he's just protected himself in the server. There'll be no further part from him.
Yeah, Foz has got it in YouTube chat. I agree. Packets, just because I agree, I don't know what the packets is about, just because it doesn't cause a slowdown, continually going off track to me is an advantage. That's why there are white lines on the track. There you go, that's other drivers, as we said, drivers' opinions are different, aren't they? Let's be real about it, than what is within the rule book. On that one, let's move on anyway, because we have discussed that at length here as well. Brooke Kadai with Daniel Magri having a fight. We've got Ricky Provenzale, who we've not picked up much of. He's having a fight at the moment with the Riot Sim Racing of Matt Carrick. So Ricky getting himself in the mix here as well. Up 10 places into 50.
Ricky Provenzale doing reasonable. I realize that Curtis, Challenger class leader, sits inside the top 10. Challenging as well, Nick Wood.
No further action for car 13, Jimmy Middle on lap 29 for blocking, which is what we saw with Bobby Camo on that lap where he literally just chopped his nose off. Latella is side by side there. Oh. But was side by side at that moment in time. Is that Hanlon alongside him?
Yep.
Problem is with that, there was more space on the right and or the left hand side, or Hanlon's left there. So did he pinch him a little bit, or did Latella not really get near the apex? So yeah, that's going to be an interesting one for RC to sort out. But Daniel Magri giving Isaac Curtis all sorts of grief, and he's got Brooke Kadai up behind him currently as well. So Magri chasing down Curtis for 4.8 seconds now it is, but he's got Brooke Kadai for company.
So, after being accused of having elite class pace of his own last race, Fozzie would like to chime in and just say, hey, that Isaac Curtis guy has got pace as well.
Yeah.
Too much of it.
Somewhat calling the kettle black on that one there, Foz. So, you know what I mean? Come on, mate. Play the rules there as well. But yeah, great job today. The only promotion that I was aware of was Leaf McClimate went up to Elite. That was it from last time. That I'm aware of here as well, that I was notified of. So I believe Leaf McClimate has gone up, but he's not here, I don't think, today anyway, is he? I haven't seen him out on the racetrack. So there we go. But I can tell you one man we're also not seeing much of either, believe it or not, is Mr. Dean Mackay out in front for the Ventral Motorsport team, flying 12 seconds up the road. So there we go. We've got Mr. Pete Baxter back in with us.
Yeah, boys, Dean Mackay is out there killing it. I just jumped in with the Riot team and you know, those boys are driving along as best they can. Still worried about, they're not convinced they're going to get there on one more stop. They pretty much mostly think they're going to make another stop. The Audi's burning the rear tyres, Scotty, just for you, and the Lambo's burning the front. So it depends on what car it is. In the Riot team. So who's driving the Lambo on the Riot team? That'll be is it Dean Reddit driving the Lambo in the Riot team. But they're out there and there is a Lambo, Scotty. Yeah, yeah, Dean Reddit. P18, yeah, he's in the right team driving the Lambo. So he's saying the front's screwing him out. But yeah, look, the guys are out there racing as best they can, but they don't have an answer for the pace that's out in the front. What they're looking for is a safety car to get back into it to probably try and save some fuel. But it looks like they're going to do the conventional 3-stopper and get through there. So boys are just fighting hard, but yeah, the pace is beyond them. I think they're looking at Dean Mackay's pace going, shit, where did that come from?
So I'll pitch this one to you guys. It was chatting to Ricky. I've been chatting to Ricky a fair bit actually of late, and I said, all right, when do I finally get my chance to come and go for a drive? Because people promising me an opportunity to come race at some point since the series' inception. We're finally going to get it next round actually at Magny Core. I said I love Portimão. I really would like to drive Portimão. Glad I didn't register for this one because I've had no chance to practice. I've been away all week, but I will have an opportunity to drive at Magny Core. Do I drive the Porsche at Magny Core just to prove the Porsche doesn't do Porsche thing?
No, because then you're going to look a plonker when it does do Porsche things. I'm not being rude,
I'll back
Scotty.
you, Scotty. I'll back you.
Don't do it on that one.
Scotty, I'll back you. I know you got a bit of talent behind the wheel, but way more talent than I do. So I'll back you in the Porsche, mate.
No. Oh God. All right. Just to make it aware, everybody, as well, this is on YouTube and it will stay there for life. I do not back Scotty Rankin in the Porsche.
We get this VOD deleted. I'll reach out to the boys. We'll get this VOD deleted.
No, you cannot. No, because you know you're going to go round. And then when you go round, you're going to be there going, oh, man. Because you know, up in the booth, I'm going to be there laughing at you and I would have caught it live on camera. So everybody can see Scotty Rankin doing more spins than a pirouette. More spins than a ballerina there, mate. Don't do it. You're opening yourself up to a whole lot of ridicule if you go round.
Well, look, I've met Scotty in person, mate. If he put on a ballerina dress, he'd probably be natural. So that's kind of cool. He can jump in the Porsche and pull it off, yeah.
All right, there you go. There we go then. Here's the deal. You drive the Porsche at Magny Core, you go round, you've got to send a picture of you wearing a full leotard and tutu.
I won't do the leotard, but I'll do the tutu.
No,
I will do the tutu.
No, tutu, I can put on a tutu and send you a picture, Scotty. If you're going to talk about being a ballerina, mate, come on.
Right, so the flip side, no, so Scotty, the flip side is you get around the racetrack without spinning the Porsche. JP puts on the ballerina outfit and gives us a photo from over in that lovely bloody UK.
I will build the most stable Porsche setup you've ever seen in my life. I'm not out there to race. I'm out there just to prevent the thing from going around.
You and I spent a month making sure we get the setup right.
Wuss. Yeah, it'll be on it now, won't it? It'll go out after this broadcast, Pete, and it'll be there like, I've got to get this right. I can't spin it. He would have racked up a lace light. It'll be there. We go, how many laps did you do, Scott? I've done about 1,000 laps on Magny Core to make sure. And then after the start, the green flag will go down. It'll go into turn 1 and the car will go round on him.
Not a chance, mate. I believe in Scotty's driving.
We'll make it happen.
Right. Hey, listen, just back to the race. I'm just keeping my eye on the DMT chat. I noticed they started with 4 drivers, 3 of them were DNF, and I'm worrying that there's a bit of commentator's curse because Jimmy is the guy that asked me to jump between drivers and teams tonight and have a chat to them and come back and bring you the news, right? And now I'm jumping into his team and 3 out of 4 of his drivers have DNF'd and jumped off, right? So I'll jump on to Jimmy and see if we can get him to DNF as well. Hey, how's that sound?
No, poor old Jimmy's doing so well. And he's out all by himself at the moment as well, bless him.
Hey, he is now. Maybe he needs someone to talk to. I'll be back, boys. Have a go, Cole.
Catching up with Nick Bottrell, Glenn O'Nott and Martin Hallinan. All of them had their own little bits of moments there as well. Again, it's looking like the tyres are slowly wearing here, Scotty, because they were literally all the same on corner exit as they're putting down the power, and unfortunately they've all gone round. But yeah, we've lost Owen Coleman from DMT, Andrew Dutch from DMT as well. Got Jimmy still in there from DMT, still in the booth. Who was the last one then that we've lost?
We've lost Coleman, we've lost Dutch.
That's it, isn't it, from the DMT? With Jimmy out on track.
Yep.
Yeah, there was 4 of them as well.
I don't even know.
Great move by Brooke, Abraxas Creations. Very impressed with some of the some. To be fair, mate, we haven't seen anything that malicious, and between me and Scotty, I think we've wrapped up probably a good 3,000 broadcasts or more, and we're normally the first ones to call out anything malicious here at all, and to be honest, we haven't seen much of it.
Track.
Yeah, tough track, tough racing.
Yeah.
As we said earlier on, you're racing. If you want to see what racing looks like, Google 1990s BTC and look at the Alfa Romeo go flying over Knock Hill and literally after being hit in the side. So, you know, racing is racing. We're not ballet dancing out on the racetrack here as well. So, yeah, I haven't seen anything malicious. Scotty hasn't seen anything malicious. We've just seen great racing. However, we did just see a major mistake from Jimmy Middleton that's going to allow Bobby Kamal to get through finally.
Bobby's been working on that for like 45 minutes, so he'll be very happy to finally be done.
He's just glad he sees any other colour but black and yellow. That would do for Bobby, because he's been stuck there for quite a while. So, yeah, unfortunately on that one. It looks like we've lost Chris Withers. He's done an incident here as well. I don't think we've lost him. I think he's just probably done... Oh, off it goes. See you later on that one. And he's carrying too much speed and trying to correct it. He's going to go round. There we go. He should have just left it and let it run and backed off. But there we go, Scotty. That's what you got to look forward to at Magny Court.
Yeah, and update as well for Sam Chapman running inside the top 6. It's actually his birthday today. So,
Happy birthday!
thanks, Facebook. Facebook just told me that now. Good thing I did check, jump across and check. I normally try to stay away from that mid-broadcast, but there you go.
Oh, bless him. Awesome. Well, I'm glad it's his birthday. We need a happy birthday tune, don't we, if he comes into the booth?
Well, he might get one tonight if he does pull off the fuel saving that he's trying to pull off.
Decent here with Benici as well. Foz basically said that you should drive the vet. That's what he said in YouTube chat as well. He said, I should never be a lead challenger every day. The vet's an interesting car. Again, it's one of them, Scotty, that you've got to treat nice. You've got Netflix and chill it. You can't be slamming the throttle down coming out of corners, mate, because it will not like you.
Well, the big thing that I've noted from just watching a lot of people tonight is that they've not been afraid to put pressure on the tyres. And I haven't had the opportunity to do a lot of GT3 driving of late, but when I do, in one of the groups that I was hanging around with, the big thing that I learned coming out of those guys was you've got to really trick tyres easily. And this is one of those tracks with the high tyre wear as well that I would say you've even got to be kinder to them. So when you see me out next round, my strengths are tyre wear and fuel conservation. Pace doesn't seem to be my strong suit. But tyre wear and fuel conservation, driving to a strategy, driving to a number, that's what I'm chasing.
Weakness being he's picking a Porsche. So there we go.
Well, it should be good actually at Magny Court. It should be really, really suited to the car. So
that fast left-hander in turn 1. Oh, bro, the left-hander on the right. You go through Magny Court, go through the last chicane, come sweeping down. You go out onto the right to take a swing, and then you come in left and go left all the way round, and then you go right. You carry too much speed and brake drive that left-hander, mate. That car is spinning.
But it's just about being subtle with the pedal. Subtlety is the key of the Porsche.
Well, yeah. We'll see. We'll see. I'm just looking forward to my photo.
I noticed you jumped into that chat channel and Jimmy finally made the mistake that Bobby Kamo's been asking from him for a very long time.
Yeah, no, and Nathan Coburn's put a whole lot of pressure on Jimmy. But I was talking to Jimmy, I was saying, I'm just making sure that, mate, you've asked me to jump in and out of the team chats. Have you not put the mocker on all your teammates? Because they've all DNF'd and left him alone for the rest of the race. He's got an hour to go. And Jimmy's like, no, they're all weak, let him go. So Jimmy's fighting a battle. He knows where he is now in the race. He does have another couple of stops to go. He doesn't think he's going to make it to the end on the stop. He's about to come in for the pits. He's just trying to keep Nathan behind him, and I think he gave him a spot at one stage, but he's going to make him earn the next one. So Nath, get out there and give Jimmy a bit of a hard time. And I just wanted to make sure that we didn't put the mockers on just by jumping into that. And
2-6 on that one. Macri, Fenson going side by side, coming into Torreville. Magri's going to have the inside line, gets the job done over Fenson. Fenson's going to have nothing to come back with on the exits. So, sorry, Pete, you carry on.
No, you're good. So, I was just making sure that Jimmy wasn't feeling that he was going to get the last of the commentators' curse for Team TNT tonight, but he's confident he's going to get through the end of the race, whether it's 1 or 2 stops. Doesn't know where he's going to finish, but he's confident he'll be able to get there. He's got a pretty stable setup in.
Well, there we go. On that one, Magri Fenson still battling it out here. That Vinny and Nguyen there as well. Sorry, apologies on that one. Fenson's a little bit further down. Tommy Wallace, Dawson Curtis, Carrick and Provenzali in the pits. 45 minutes, Sky. We said it was going to be, if they can get to 15 minutes, it's going to be really, really close. It's going to be a little bit of fuel saving on that one. Jimmy's in now for DMT. He's gone into the pit lane as well. Dawson's on his way out. 26.5 second stops for these guys going into the pit lane. So, yeah.
Just watching an interesting battle between Sean McLean and Glenn Arnott. Arnott's out of sequence in terms of... So, Arnott hasn't pit yet. And he's squabbling with him like you wouldn't believe. So, McLean is getting a little bit teed off.
Frustration does kick in. Question for Jean-Claude is, how does he handle that frustration? Because if he comes in and just thinks, full send, Max Verstappen, off I go, he's going to be in trouble. If he, he's got to realise that he's not Pastor Maldonado. You know what I mean? Let's be real about it. So it's going to be a little bit, he's got to be a little bit sharp and a little bit clever. Rain Campbell's in for his second stop as well. Dean Mackay has been in for his second stop on lap 41, so 2 laps to go for Dean Mackay here as well, and he should still be the overall leader by about probably 12 to 15 seconds by the time the cycles are finished.
Just thinking, I'm pretty sure Arnott's due basically in the lane. He's maybe got another 2 laps worth of fuel potentially that he can extend it out to, and if he does, that gets him right in about the window. So somebody else has just hit the barriers out of the last corner.
Yeah, Chris Withers.
Yeah, look, Scotty, you got to be smart enough to realise if you come out and you got somebody who hasn't pitted, just to have a look and go, okay, when is their pit cycle coming up? If I'm just going to, if they're not going to let me pass because we are in a race together, we might be racing overall at the front. But if the safety car does come out, some things might change. But you've got to be smart enough. Look, this is only 1 or 2 laps of a 2-hour race. He's going to sit there. You put a bit of pressure on him to take the opportunity for a chance, but you don't take too many chances because that guy's going to come out and go into the pits very shortly in a lap or 2.
Oh, they've made contact. That was coming. That was brewing. McLuhan's going to try and get the drive off. Something's just happened to Dan Macri at the same time as well, and he will finally get that spot off of him, but there was contact to set it up.
Yeah, it's whether or not he's going to look at it and think he needs to give it back. That's going to be the question. If he doesn't, then if there was RC does deem it as a problem, he's going to be in trouble here as well as Magri. Oh, dude's constantly inside. The weirdest thing is that didn't look like. What's the contact there from that Porsche?
Yeah, big contact there with Dan Magri there.
Yeah.
That is something for race control to have a look at. I think that was just a dive that probably wasn't necessary.
Oh, there we go. 43 minutes on the clock. Pit stops us cycling through as well. And what is this man doing in his car here? He's still saving to try and get to the end.
You bet. He's going to have to save to go the whole way. So he ran 22 laps on that first stint. So by those numbers, he can get to lap 44. We're on lap 44 now. And remember, we had a formation lap in the middle of that. So if he can get 1 more lap from here, which would be 23 laps on a non-formation lap stint, he makes it home, I think.
I reckon he's still short, Scotty.
Yeah. I reckon he's got to get to 35 minutes, maybe, to be able to make it.
Yeah, got to get to 35 minutes. At my pace in testing, and in the Porsche, the same car that Sam's driving, I was 2.8 litres per lap, and I was like half a second or a second slower than these guys can race without the practice. But and even at my pace at that fuel burn, I estimated 36 to 37. So he ain't coming in, but I think he's probably still a couple of laps short of being able to do it in 2 without a safety car.
Good. I think he's going to make it. The biggest issue he's got is he's not going to win the race because Dean Mackay, after pitting, is only 5 seconds behind him. So Mackay will always beat him from here. But everyone else is a bit of a question mark.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, Mackay, he'll be tight with Mackay. He'll be very tight with Mackay.
He'll be 15.
I don't know.
Mate, if he only does one more stop, mate, he'll be 15 to 20 seconds behind Mackay. He's got to fill his tank up yet. He'll be a long way behind with Mackay, even at one stop. I think what Sam has a chance to do, if he can, skip a pit stop, is he has a chance to jump on the podium where he may not otherwise get to.
This will be interesting to keep up an eye on.
Oh, yeah, because I'm siding with Pete. I've got to be honest. I don't think he's going to have enough unless he can get within 35 minutes before he pits. And then he's going to have to save like absolute crazy to get to the end.
No. The target's not 35 minutes. The target's 40 minutes. So we're right on that now. An issue for Nguyen. And I think that's Vinny Nguyen on for picks up a penalty.
He's in pit lane.
We're about 30 seconds shy, but the thing is that if you calculate this pit stop in, I think that gets him to the end of the race because by the time he pops out of the pit stop, he's going to be beyond the 40 minute mark.
Find out how wrong, whether or not we were wrong, Pete, or whether or not Scotty got it right on that one.
Right now, I reckon he's 3 minutes short, which is about 2 laps. So Sam Chapman's going to have to do some awesome fuel saving to have a safety car go through. I still reckon there's a special station there to avoid running out of fuel. So I'm going to call that now from where he is.
Yeah. I agree. As we pick up on Jimmy Middleton and Matt McCamley, they're fighting out. Jimmy's now 10th in class. He has made 2 stops, of course, which is what he did say to us he would be making. He's got one more in the tank, I think, to come for Jimmy Middleton there as well.
So I'll give you. I got this cool thing that I love about Race Labs, which is the overlay software I prefer to use. But it gives you an estimated lap count. Estimated lap count 68 laps. Since of 22, 23, 23 is 68 laps.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that it's not going to be close, mate. I just think that the way I've estimated it, and I know that I'm a little bit slower than the guys driving in the elite class when I do my own fuel times, I still think he's a minute or 2 short. Now, I could be wrong because we're right in the margins where some people can get there, and some people, if Sam, from the moment he drives out of pits, if Sam is saving fuel, he might be on to just cruise over and get the ticket flag whilst he's running out of fuel. And if he's got that talent and that ability, mate, all kudos to him because that is phenomenal driving in a full green flag race, right? But I personally right now, I think he's at least a lap short of fuel. Can he save a lap? By even if it's fuel saving, he's certainly not going to be trying to chase down Dean Mackay or probably even Stewie Shaw. We haven't talked much about Stewie Shaw. He's been sort of running around in second all night tonight, but we haven't talked much about those guys. I don't think Sam's going to be chasing them down if he's going to try and get there without doing another stop. And I'd love to go and talk to him, but he's not in the Discord, so I can't go and have a chat with him and see what he's up to.
Yeah, I think he's going to make it. I really do think he's going to make it. It's going to be winning the race is going to be exceptionally tight, but he is going to get there.
Alrighty. Well, for once I might be able to call Scotty Rankin wrong. It doesn't happen very often. We'll see.
We'll see, because without your calculations, the thing is when you're using an outside program, it's has just got Jean McClure right in behind George, just took a little bit of a dive on going into turn number 2 on that one. The problem when you're using an outside calculation program and you're not actually in the sessions, the fuel readings can be all over the place. Now, unless Scotty has all of a sudden got onto his wheel.
I'm not reading it off fuel. No, I'm not reading it off the fuel. I'm just reading it based off the timings, how far he's gone thus far. So I will put hand on heart, maximum distance on fuel is 23 laps, but he's already proved that he can do that. Now, if we go 68 laps, he can get there.
Well, let's see. Hold your horses, YouTube chat, because we're going to find out whether or not Sam and Chapman can get to the end. Oh, Jimmy! What you done, son?
The inevitable?
The inevitable, yeah. He's made a mistake. He's got man up. Oh, too fast, mate. You're brake dragging like crazy.
All tyres, I think that looks like.
This is pretty good. Dragging brakes like crazy to try and get that stop there as well. But at least it wasn't a major mistake for Jimmy Middleton. But you can see everybody at the moment is a little bit spread out across the racetrack. Currently at the moment, Martin Hallinan is now tucked up behind Jimmy Middleton. That's probably the closest battle, believe it or not, on the circuit here, Scotty.
No, I mean, racing at this point for an hour and a half, so everyone has strung themselves out. And again, McLuhan's not happy with some of the racing he's receiving, but his marker is I'm being held up. Now, he's made his final stop. He's the only driver that, well, barring Sam Chapman, who has done his final stop because he undercut. The problem is, when you undercut, you get yourself in traffic.
What does he expect him to do? That's my question. What does Sean McLuhan expect him to do?
Yeah, I'm agreeing.
They're racing.
That's the risk when you undercut.
Yeah, it's not. Oh, he's short. I must jump out of the way. No, dude, that's not happening. Yeah, suck it up, buttercup. Unfortunately for that, you want to make an undercut. You're going to get yourself stuck in traffic. You've got to make the overtakes to go with it. That's my philosophy.
Hey boys, I just got back from having a chat with good old Jimmy Middleton. You mentioned his name, so I jumped in there just as he's having a race. He's trying to fight old Matt McCanley up in front, and he realises that Matt has taken the philosophy if you can't beat him, join him, and he's going outside those little track limit runs, but not out to the slow down limit on the last corner. So Jimmy's in a fight for his life, but he did get a speeding penalty on his way into pit lane. And he did say after getting a speeding penalty, he's still going to fight on and not DNF or quit like Owen Coleman did. So, some fighting words out there from Jimmy. Oh, he's just gone out there and given it a big old run as well. So Jimmy's in there, he's getting in a big fight, and I can see Matt McCanley's having a little bit of a spin fight. He's just finally got his rabbit, mate. Go, Jimmy.
No, he's got Martin now. Is he going to get Martin as well? Oh, Jimmy, you're going to tighten up that line. Oh, bro, decide. Oh. Go on, Jim. I love a trier. So there we go. Amazing.
Oh, mate, he's having a ball out there. He's having an absolute wicked time. It's never fail, never give up. Just get out there and race it. You can get the race and have a good time. Jimmy's having a ball, even though he caught that late penalty for speed limits.
Yeah, he's ahead of Ricky. And we know how important that little fight is constantly every single race. Pete as well.
didn't see anything happen to Ricky. I get the feeling Ricky might have had some children-related issues come up. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I didn't see his name pop up as if he's had an accident or anything like that. I didn't see that pop up. So yeah, I think that could be Littleton related. Obviously, he's got his new Littleton. So yeah, I think that could be that related on that one. But Jimmy's having a good old go, which is always good as well. Dean Reddit in there. I love that. I hope Gretsch has enough fuel.
Oh, let me go and check.
Yeah,
I did warn Adrian I'd come and check.
yeah, go and check. Just say the boys up the booth said, are you going to get it over the line today with your fuel, mate? There you
All right,
go.
I'll be back.
All right, man. It's kind of a story, isn't it, Scotty? We've seen him sat 5 yards from the line and was like, you just needed that all by myself music. Yeah, too, it was, unfortunately for him as well. So, it's going to be exciting here as well. But let's hope Adrian does have that one once again. But Dean Reddit fighting it out here in the only Lamborghini. I think he's in the only Lamborghini. I believe he is. Here he is, isn't he, with Alfonso Latella. So, yeah, action all the way through.
He's the dark horse.
Nice. Good job.
We've been working on that one for a while.
Yeah, I didn't take it. Yeah, I think that's it now. Scotty needs to go for a lie down for 5 minutes. Everybody there.
Yeah.
I'll be back. I need to go and have a snooze. Give my brain a rest for 5 minutes after thinking of that one. But I think it turn it into somewhat of it's almost like a story, isn't it? We've got people on who we know are going to need 3 stops. We've got people that we think Wood and Chapman who are going to try and take 2. We've got Reddit in a battle with Latella. We've got Jimmy still going on as well. So I think there's a lot of action still to come here. Breaking into the half an hour. Pete's come back in. Does Adrian Gretsch have enough fuel?
Mate, I can't be definitive, right? But so here's the story, right? Grecky's coming in the pits very shortly. He's got 14 minutes worth of fuel left to go, so he knows he has to come in and do another pit stop. What he didn't answer was whether he's going to put enough fuel in to go to the end or short fill and see if he can change. That's the question he didn't answer. So he's been a bit coy with me. So I said, don't run out, mate, you'll make us all look like gooses. But anyway, so I have gone to check. He knows he needs fuel. He knows he needs got another stop. So it's on to Adrian, right? He knows how far he's got to go, right? It's on him. You know, we'll find out in about 10 minutes' time.
Well, he's just coming into pit lane, so if he's got 14 minutes left, he's going to have to do some maths here because now he's got to look and see how much he has and whether or not he can get to the end. So let's keep an eye on Adrian Gretsch on that one, Scotty. Whether or not he makes it to the end as well. Poor Gretsch does not have much luck with fuel calculations. No, he's got to go in and do it again. So this could be. I tell you what, if he runs out again, I'm going to employ a spotter just for Adrian to go and work with him to get his fuel right. I think.
So for Sam Chapman, it's really, really interesting this little period of the race right here, and I'll tell you why. It's to do with the fact that he needs everyone else to pit. If everyone else sort of is relying on slow stops for a bunch of these guys to make sure that he can pop back out in a nice little spot, because right now they're going to get the extra lap in. They get the extra lap in, he does have to make the extra stop. But if he's okay, then he'll be fine. Yeah, if everyone else doesn't have to make that extra stop, he'll be fine.
Yeah. But the question is will you have to? We never know with fuel saving in general. We'll see. Scott, you might be right. And if you are right, fair play to you. You know what I mean? And me and Pete just got it wrong, but he's definitely clutching in like an absolute trooper or sitting in sixth here with no gas whatsoever. So, yeah, we'll see what happens and go from there. But you might be right, dude. If he makes it, fair play to him.
He's doing some aggressive saving. He's losing about a second a lap to a bunch of the cars up ahead trying to get this done, but I think he's going to make it. But now he's just watching we wait. Well, round of stops are going to come in about 10 minutes left to go. we've still got a good 18 minutes left on the clock to that point in time. There is Daniel Magri and Eli Donaldson is the only battle anywhere on the track at the moment.
Yeah, Alfonso Latella is also here fighting it out with Dean Reddit, and Latella has just gone through going into Torrey Vip, turn number 5 through the left hand of that. Job done on that one. Eli Donaldson and Martin Carrick there, Ben Jeffrey and Nick Bottrell having an interesting, well, they were right up until the point. Yeah, Bottrell's just now made a mistake and has gone round, unfortunately for Nick. So, yeah, we're going to be interested to see what happens. That one, was that an incident or was that just all on his own? I've got a funny feeling it may have been on Nick Bottrell all on his own here. Yeah, it was. So there we go. Nick Bottrell goes round, and that puts Ben Jeffrey up a spot. Benjamin Brook is in the pits. He's just lost a couple of positions as well. Jesse McMiniman sitting in second place in the Challenger class. He's got Vinny Nguyen behind him in the Porsche. So yeah, and Stefan Mellis just looks like he's had a moment as well.
Tell you what, Isaac Curtis is up to 7th spot at the moment, sitting quite nicely. Where are our Challenger class podiums? Well, at the moment, it's, I believe, Curtis from McMenamin from Saxon is your podium.
Yeah, Daniel Magri here as well with Eli Donaldson. This is a battle for 9th and 10th in class here. And they're continuing to fight it out. Both men have made 2 stops. Magri on 39, Donaldson on 44. So Donaldson again is another one that could be close to whether or not he's going to get to the end. Stefan Mellis has looked like he's gone and made a mistake. This is coming down into Torrey Vip, the left-hander. He's going to brake drag that in, and that Porsche is going to go in too deep. So there we go from Stefan Mellis on that one. But he is up 10 places as Bobby Kimura is also up 15. So great action and great gains from some of the Challenger boys here.
Tell you what, Bobby Kimura probably wishes that Jimmy Middleton had made that spinning and pit lane entry on his first stop. Because it's cost him a fair bit of speed. He is starting to track down Stefan Mellis just ahead of him though.
He's got about 1.24 seconds, so it really does depend on how they get on there. Saxon is in front. He's about, he's a long way up the road at the moment as well as Jamie Saxon. Currently about 13 seconds over Stefan Mellis. So yeah, he's got a long way to go before he can get up to here. Saxon sitting in 3rd, of course, in the Challenger class, of course, here, and leading the way in the championship at this moment in time by 90 points if it stays as it is now. So Jamie Saxon doing a great job. Bobby Kimura has cleared Stefan Mellis, gone through and made that place up.
So another spot gain. Some more advancement. And Vinny Nguyen's caught the back of Jesse McMiniman now as well, I believe. Wallace is in. He's going to make his final stop.
Oh, McMiniman just got that all wrong. There we go. Does lose that place to Vinny Nguyen. He literally got that completely wrong. Did Jesse. But this time he wasn't under threat from anybody else there as well. The only person he is under threat from, I believe that is Adrian Gretsch in behind him, which at this moment in time is a lap down in that Ford, sitting in 29th place. So yeah, lap car coming onto the back of minimum at the moment. But this is literally, the battles are mainly down here at the moment. Ben Jeffrey and James Mason there. Bobby Kimura still within a second. Everywhere else you can see on the left hand side, everything else is kind of settled down a little bit here. Yep,
So in the meantime, I'll just tell you that John McLuhan's temper's still up. And he's having some issues with a couple of different lap cars at this point in time. And so hackles are up for the 992 Porsche. For the meantime, Peter's been doing a little bit of a walk up and down the lane. Hopefully not speaking into any suspension parts instead of microphones.
No, boys, I've actually just dropped into the race control booth to see how they're doing. They've sort of relaxed a little bit like now. We had a little bit of a conversation about the track limits issue, but I'm not going to talk about too much of that tonight because essentially, the league has set up what they've set up, and whether you personally agree with it or disagree with it, I think that's a personal issue right now. I know Ricky and Jimmy have a really deliberate view on what they've got, so we're going to leave it like that. Other than that, we're just sort of watching cruising cars go around. I did ask whether they had noticed Ricky have any issues, but no, he just pulled into the pits and has essentially jumped out of the car. So there was no racing incident or whatever. So I think, Scotty, you might be on the money. It might be on outside of a sim issue that's pulled Ricky out of the sim, and which is a shame because the guy races really well, and I think normally he's in that sort of top 10 or 15. And on a full green flag late race, I think it would have been good for to see him enjoy it and see where he really fits in the scheme of things tonight. So sad news there about Ricky having to pull out for whatever reason he did outside the sim. It certainly wasn't racing related.
Well, update on Jean McLuhan. He didn't. So the problem for Jean McLuhan was I think he was trying to get himself out of traffic, and he pit one lap too early. He's just come back in for another splash of fuel, and I think he might have sped on the way into pit lane as well.
Yeah, it's just Ben Jeffrey with Nick Wood in behind. Obviously, Nick being a lap ahead. Yeah, not quite sure how this is going to go down here as well. Whether or not he feels he should have been allowed through. McLuhan has just cleared, I believe it was Miss McMinimum, and has now got Vinnie Nguyen in front of him. So for McLuhan, unfortunately, it's gone from bad to worse. He's down 14 places on the day from where he started. Obviously, he lost a bunch at the start as well.
Was one of the bigger losers on lap one without an incident, to be perfectly honest. And well, now he's going to have to try and drive his way back through them all. But for the meantime, he's popped back out. Remember, he was fighting Vinnie Nguyen. He wasn't happy when he was fighting him before. Well, now he is legitimately fighting Vinnie Nguyen. So, sorry, mate, you're going to have to find a way through.
Yeah, he's going to have to. You can't expect anybody to jump out of the way. It's just a battle of thing here as well. You got to go for it. You can see that literally from 12th place down, they're all off the lead lap. So they're all scrapping, and Vinnie Nguyen's in there as well with McLuhan, with McMinimum, with Saxon. They're all fighting it out. And Latella's up there with Glenn Arnott as well. So they've got to make sure that they can get through here. And for McLuhan, he's just got to do the job. If Nguyen decides that he wants to defend, then fair play to him. He's going to defend like crazy. So should be an interesting one for the next 19 minutes here as well. Final warning for car 992 McLuhan on lap 55, communications breach. Well, clearly he's been having a whinge.
He's been on the comms a few times, just asking people to get out of his way, and wasn't necessarily kind, so I'll back with that one. So, and now for McLuhan, gets down the inside and gets the job done down at turn 4, and that's all about the setup. He gets the job done.
Yeah, but now he's got Dean Reddit, which he ain't going to get near because he's 18 seconds up the road. So unfortunately for McLuhan, this is about as best as he's going to get here. And for Vinnie Nguyen, he's got to decide whether or not he's going to go back at him. For me, you've got like 18 minutes to go. Race the hell out of him. Go for it. See what happens on that one. But it does look like Alfonso Latella has just had another moment here. We've still got our Ted Kravitz in the booth with us. How are you, Pete?
Yeah, no, just sitting here pretty I'm looking at some of the timings remaining. I'm sort of erring towards Scotty's belief that Sam Chapman might actually make this on fuel, to be honest. I'm thinking, shit, that time's going. Oh, I shouldn't say that. That time's going a whole lot quicker than I thought it might. And Scotty might have called us out. And if he does, kudos to him. But have a look at this green flag race. There's only 11 cars on the lead lap. So if we do end up with a late race safety car, then we're going to have a massive, big delay as we let most of the field do a wave fly to get round on the safety car. So I don't think we're going to end up with the safety car. I think the track is nice and open, and we're going to go green all the way to the end. But you just have a look at the quality of this field and how fast some of these guys are to see that somebody like Nick Wood, who's been a superstar in PEL from Series 1 through to now, is now the last remaining car on the lead lap. That's just phenomenal. But it also talks up to how fast Dean Mackay really has been tonight, and he's just been out there and unbeatable, I think.
Yeah, he's dominated. Absolutely dominated. What's gone on with Isaac Curtis there? Because all of a sudden he just got closed right in on the back of Sam Chapman. So this Chapman going rather slowly, and Isaac Curtis has caught up with him.
Yeah, so that's the parcel of fuel saving, is you are going to be costing yourself a fair bit of time. You can see it right there, closes in a little bit further. Curtis has not made his final stop of the race. We'll have to make another pit stop, so this isn't actually a fight on track.
But is this also a fight that Chapman doesn't need to use any more fuel?
Correct, 100%.
He's got to decide now whether or not he just needs to let Curtis go. Because if he ends up in this, all of what he's done could be, emphasis on could be, unravelled. So he's got to decide what he wants to do. Does he want to really mess around with Curtis this close behind him? Or does he really want to just let Curtis go and he's got to concentrate on his own race?
Look, if Sam Chapman knows he's going to get to the end of this race, he's got 4 laps of fuel up on on Isaac Curtis, sorry. And, he should just let him go because to be honest, I think Sam will jump Isaac and Alan Dawson, but that's probably as far as he will. Both of those drivers are 4 laps less fuel than he is, and they certainly need to stop. But if Sam's on that threshold, then, don't race here, you don't have to race if you know where you are in the race, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Why waste time fighting?
Yeah, like now. There you go. Good job. Just let him go, because that's what he needed to do. So, fair play to Chapman. Isaac now, though, up 4 spots, sitting in 5th overall. Great job for the Challenger driver. Dean Reddit still tucked up behind Latella. Magri's in the pit lane currently at this moment in time, and so is Stefan Mellis there as well. So, pit stops coming within the last 14 minutes, which is what we kind of predicted.
Like you said, Dean Reddit, Afonso Latella and Glenn are not all together on racetrack at the moment. They're probably a good group to keep half an eye on. Sam Chapman's just continuing to just sort of drop off the back of Curtis. He just can't maintain and save the fuel that he needs to. He's got a target, he's got a number he's driving to.
I'll tell you what, boys, I like the 60% fuel restriction. I like the fact that full green race means people have to do splash and dashes, or you're going to save the whole race. I like the fact you're going to make those decisions straight up. And if it was me and I set up races with a whole lot of nasty intent, I'd probably make the fuel at about 58, 57% and just make it that little bit more, because if there is a safety car, it still leaves that doubt for splash and dash. I love it. I love the fact that you're making all of the drivers think the whole way through the race and making them manage that. That's just fabulous.
But the other thing you'd do as well is you'd get everyone only 1 spare set of tyres.
I would too, Scotty. Yes, Dave, you have been there. Yes, you've lived that dream. That is a wonderful dream. And in fact, wouldn't that be a great addition to Premier Endurance League racing? say 60%. Oh, there we go. Glenn Arnott's had a bit of a spin, boys.
Well, car's finally gotten away from Glen Arnott. This is the replay will tell us how it happened at the crest of the hill up here in Too Hot.
Yeah.
A little bit of mid-corner rotation.
Yeah, dragged it in as well. Unfortunately there. Now this is going to be an interesting one. This is why I was focusing on this. As McLuhan, as we know, has been very vocal. However, he has got Daniel Magri in front of him. And, you know, when you're talking and fighting somebody like Dan Magri, you've got to be prepared for a battle, should we say.
Be prepared for a battle. He'll have to be. Eli Donaldson in the lane to make his final stop. Got 12 minutes left on the clock now. Running out of time to get some pit stops in the books. Who still needs to make the stop? Who is on the way to the end? We think there's only one driver in the field that's not going to have to make a splash and dash. Well, I think there's only one driver in the field that doesn't have to make a splash and dash. These two monkeys.
Hey.
Monkeys with microphones, that's what I'm calling them. Areas.
Hey, behave yourself. You know what I mean?
JP, that's all right. I've met Scotty. I've seen the size of him. There's no way he can call me a monkey and get away with it.
Pete, get out of it for me as McLuhan is going up the inside of Magri. There, I'll leave Pete to go and fight my battles on that one, being that he's in the same country and I'm 24 hours away by an aeroplane and I don't fancy flying all the way over there.
You, Pete. This one's not quite done. Actually, McLuhan's going to get fought back. Magri's going to have another crack at him. I still don't think this one might be done.
I'm surprised Magri let that go so easily.
Well, he didn't. He definitely did come back and have a go at him. Matt Carrick's now going to get into the pit lane as well. So
I think this is where... Yeah, he didn't try and squeeze in. He didn't try and outbrake him or anything. He just kind of let McLuhan go. So... A little bit easier than normal.
Good racing by both of them.
Yeah,
he was hoping for a switchback. He was looking for the drive off the exit. He just didn't quite get it. So,
well, this is going to determine if Sam Chapman can get to the end. This is going to determine his stop because everybody started coming in again. Mackay's in. Stewie Shaw's going to be in. We know Ryan Campbell's got to come in. We know Dawson's got to come in. So it depends on where Chapman and how close he can get to the guys that are already in pit lane.
And we know with 5 minutes to go, this is going to be now safety car free. This is a 2-hour green race, boys.
Not bad at all.
To be honest, I kind of expected it tonight. So much runoff area. So much runoff area.
Yeah, and even stacking it in the final corner as well. You saw that when it did happen, they were right by the exit on the left-hand side there as we coming through. So I think at the end of the day, there's lots of place where you can get a car out of the way. I don't think a safety car would have been needed.
It wasn't conducive to the experience. Wasn't required, and I agree with that one. We both would here tonight. So Dean Mackay's made his pit stop. He's come out 24 seconds behind Ryan Campbell, critically about 20 seconds ahead of Sam Chapman. So it's not on for the race win, even if Sam Chapman does make it to the end of this one. But it will be on for the minor placings on the podium.
Yeah, going to be an interesting one. As you see, Bobby Kamara still battling it out with Ben Brooks further down here as well. And then obviously they're going to have a nice battle. Is Bobby going to finally be able to get through, looking down the inside lane at this moment in time? Is he going to take it in? Kind of forces it a little bit with Brooke. And then manages to get through going into turn number 3. Is he going to hold on? He is, and he does manage to go through and take the position away from Ben Brooke. It looks like Chris Withers has had an incident, and unfortunately, it looks like he's had an incident with Jimmy Middleton. So, yeah. Jimmy's gone off. Chris has come round. Jimmy slowed down, and then boop.
Yeah, a bit of an awkward one there. I think Jimmy's gone outside the track. He's not quite on the racing line. Chris is trying to do his own thing. Little cars come together, so we'll see how that one goes. And but yeah, no, he's called it in. That slowed Jimmy down, knocked him off a couple of spots. But yeah, he's still in the top 30, so I think Jimmy will be happy with that finish at the end of the day.
10-second penalty for Chris Withers. I'm not sure I agree with that. I can't be honest, I don't even know if I agree with that. Because it did look like here, Jimmy had already lost it. That's the thing for me. He's already lost it there. Then he goes wide, then he's braking, and then... Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that. With a car stopped, it doesn't leave you a lot of time to try and get out of the way.
Well, he wasn't stopped. He wasn't stopped. So, anyway, it's front to rear contact. It's prompted a spin, so it is what it is. So, anyway, it's happened. It's in the books now. And for Sam Chapman, has Rain Campbell popped back out ahead of him? He has. So he's not even on the podium now with this strategy, but he is ahead of where he was. So it will be a benefit for Sam Chapman.
I think they kind of expected him to gain a little bit more. I think if he was going to do a strategy like that, I think I would probably would have liked him to see on the podium, or, you know, but he's only gained 2 places throughout, and he's had to work his socks off to get 4th. I don't know, a little bit counterproductive, I think. If he was going to gain a little bit more, I think, yeah, do it. But the fact he's had to work hard, he's had to, you know, really fuel save, and then only gain 2 and then not gain a podium. It makes you wonder where he would have been if he wasn't doing what he's doing now.
But to be honest, man, Sam Chapman's sitting 22nd outright in the leaderboard. So a 4th spot is a really good result, and it's going to jump him up a whole lot of spots. So, yeah, no, I see what you mean in terms of pure race finishing. But you know, if I'm sitting, you know, 20th in the leaderboard, and I'm looking at a race result where I'm coming 4th out of 20, or, you know, to 30 elite drivers, I'm going to be pretty happy with that result. Knowing how fast some of the guys like Dean Mackay, Stuart Shaw have been tonight, they've been exceptional.
Well, coming down into the final 5 minutes now of the race. Time is running out to get the job done. And at the moment for Sam Chapman, he's got about a good 30 seconds back to Alan Dawson, so he can afford to just give up a ton of time. A man we've barely looked at all night long leads the way in the final stint by 10 seconds. Final pit stops out of the way for all of the field that are going to make them.
Yeah, he's done a great job for Dean Mackay. Opened it up early, got away, and that was basically about it. Bobby Kamara's just had another incident. He was sort of closing on to the back at one point of Stefan Mellis, but he's actually in front of Stefan Mellis here, but I'm wondering whether or not he's run off the side of the circuit that should allow Mellis to go through. In fact, for Kamara, I think he parks it and calls it a day.
Yeah, he's called it a day, mate. He's got internet problems, so he's just done the right thing and pulled out to avoid having everybody else run into him. So good on Bobby. I'll call him out as a good sport for doing that.
I mean, he's run it deep into the race, and obviously, yeah, there's not much left on the table for him as well. So, yeah, recognising that fact, that's the key. But now it's just keeping an eye on Dean Reddit is the driver that's still in a battle with Saxon. Just ahead of him at the moment. I'm wondering whether or not the tyres haven't gone off on Dean Reddit.
Depends on how he's been with that Lamborghini, of course. Saxon's there, Latella's in behind him. Depends on his gains.
It's about a few minutes of the race that will sort of decide things for us. Critical factor, I think, if Sam Chapman at the moment is that I hope he recognises that he's got 30 seconds back to Alan Dawson. He doesn't need to push it on fuel.
Well, I would
just-
have thought he would have realised that already, to be fair. I think at the end of the day, he kind of knows where he's at, doesn't he? And he's known where he's at for this whole entire race. So, yeah, for Sam Chapman's point of view, I would have thought he might have been all right. We've got the leader just going around Torre Vip. We could have one and one more before the end of the race.
I think we will as well. Where he is on track, he's still got 45 seconds to get back to the start-finish line, so he won't do it from there, I don't think. It's going to be tight, actually. I might get the extra lap in. It'll be very, very tight, actually.
Yeah, it's going to be very close, whether or not he does or not. I think we're going to be only probably a few seconds out, but we'll see. What's he doing at the moment? 1:43. He's got about 20 seconds to get to over the line. He should just about possibly manage it here as well. So we might have one and one more on that one. So yeah, could be very close. We'll have to see what Barney's doing this time around and see whether or not he's got the old flags out waving as he's coming over 147, 46, 45, 44, 43.
One more lap.
Yeah,
it's one more lap.
final lap.
So Sam Chapman will be very, very glad to see that.
I was going to say, Scotty, one more lap might be the difference between love and
Would be. Absolutely, it would be. Now the long wait to see if Adrian Gretsch's got enough fuel.
That is the question. Has he got enough to go one? No, he won't have to go one more. This will be his last one because he is behind Dean Mackay on the racetrack. So Mackay will take the checkered flag. Gretsch can finish off this time around. Hopefully he's got enough fuel just to get him past this final, where he is coming into turn 5 into Torre Vip, and we'll see how he gets on. But your leader is on his way around Sampson and on that run up from Craig Jones into Portimão at the top part of the race circuit.
Yep, so up and down, right across the roller coaster for Dean Mackay. It's been a very, very quiet night at the office. Got away nice and aggressively early on. Covered everyone off. Sped away to a massive lead. And he is going to finish this one off in dominating fashion. There will be 2 more corners before he gets the opportunity to celebrate victory. And for Dean Mackay, going to be 2 in a row as well. Out of the second to last corner. Into the final corner. And to the line for Dean Mackay. He's going to take it out. Stewie Shaw is going to be into the final couple corners, into the final sector, and across the start-finish line for himself as well. Rain Campbell will recover back to a 3rd place finish. All things considered, he'll be happy with that one. And Sam Chapman will have enough fuel to get to the line.
Now Isaac Curtis should wrap it up in the Challenger class.
Isaac Curtis, this has been a lovely drive from him. Very happy with that drive. Convincingly home win in the Challenger class.
Yeah, he's coming over 7th overall, up 2 places round the final corner he goes, and then through into Galp, the final corner on this one. Did a great job, I think, for Isaac Curtis, and really done really well. You know, we've already had Foz calling for him to go up into elites, but then again, Foz is down in Challenger as well. But Isaac Curtis comes over the line, wraps it up for the elite class on that one. And a massive shout out, we must give a shout out, of course, to Mr. Adrian Gretsch, who made it over the line with all the fuel.
And enough to even do 3/4 of the cooldown lap.
He's done well.
Improvement.
Absolutely. We've got a lot.
After 2 hours at Portimão, Matt Carrick's going to round out our top 10. There's a few more drivers just to crawl it on home. 2 hours in Portugal. Makes for some amazing racing. difficult track, lots of spins, lots of issues for a bunch of different drivers here tonight. But the big key was surviving your way through to the back end, looking after tyres and looking after a little bit of that precious go-go juice as well. Stefan Mellis will get across the finish line. I believe that is going to wrap it up for the last few drivers that were circulating at the tail end. Dean Mackay dominated once again, 10 seconds the race win. Back to Stewie Shaw from Rain Campbell. 3 different teams on the podium, all of them. 2 Porsches and an Audi, so at least 2 manufacturers represented. Sam Chapman gets it home, saved enough fuel to also do his cool-down lap, by the way, so he wasn't... He would have made the extra lap just about. Home ahead of Alan Dawson and Nick Wood to round out your top 6. The first of the Challenger class drivers, Isaac Curtis, home in 7th spot, kept it clean all night long, clean and reasonably on pace. Brock Cat-Eye from Eli Donaldson, Matt Carrick, Glenn Arnott. Sean McLuhan had a very, very rough night at the office. Home ahead of Daniel Magri, Vinny Nguyen, the last driver on the... Vinny Nguyen, the first of the drivers off the lead lap. Matt Webber, Jamie Saxon home in 2nd place in the Challenger class. Dean Reddit and Alfonso Lotella there, JP, to round out our 18.
Yeah, Latella being there as well, obviously down off laps, and we've got the likes of James Mason, Ben Jeffrey, Sean Bonici, Jesse McMinimum, Ben Brook there, Stefan Mellis down in 24th, 6 in class, Adrian Gretsch made it over the line with fuel, 2 laps down, Nick Bottrell, 2 laps, Matt Camley, Jimmy Middleton still out there fighting, 2 laps down as well, Jepson, Coburn, Kimura, and then we got the guys that obviously haven't finished, Kimura, Chris Withers, Fedson, Wallace, Hallinan, Provençali, Nommenson, Burhop, Trent Allen, Coleman, Dutch, and then we've got Brandon O'Loughlin on the back end of that. Mitch Hobbs, I don't believe, actually, did he take to the start? He did take to the start, but Martin Lipsky did not take to the start there as well. So there we go.
Well, that's going to bring us home in terms of your final race standings. Now, an opportunity to chat to the successful drivers here tonight. We're going to start off with our Pro Class winner. And in terms of things, Dean Mackay, another dominating race win here tonight, mate. Pretty quick, pretty consistent, but it was about getting clear on lap number 1. Got a great getaway, and that sort of set you up for a great night at the office.
Yeah, I got some great clean air at the start of the race. I think just throughout as well, I was able to pull away a bit from the other guys, especially on the colder tyres. As the stints go on, tyre wear is really brutal around Algarve, and the times were a lot more similar.
In terms of things, I was expecting, I've done some racing here recently in the LMP2, and normally it's a bit of a tyre burner. How was the rubber at the back end of those stints?
Oh, it was terrible. You had absolutely no grip. Yeah, it was really brutal on the tires. Mainly on the lefts, we're getting close to 100 degrees throughout the second half of the stint.
Challenging race, though, particularly the amount of traffic here tonight. It looked like a lot of the guys were trying to struggle to sort of keep on the lead lap and picking your way through the lap traffic. Not an easy little, particularly with how difficult it is to overtake around here. Setting it up in the corners that switch back, like it's just difficult trying to cut your way through the traffic nice and easily as well.
Yeah, like most of the circuit's really twisty and windy. There's not really many spots to, let someone pass very cleanly. Yeah, there's kind of like 2 straights to do it on. But as for traffic, I was aiming to get that 1 extra lap per stint. So I was going when no one was in front of me, and then fuel saving fairly heavily in front of packs of people.
Well, played it nice and smartly to another race win here tonight. Who would you like to thank, Dean?
Big thank you to Brock and Tommy for coming out tonight. Brock had a great result, and Tommy unfortunately disconnected. I think his internet dropped out. But yeah, we'll be back next week.
Mate, congratulations on another race win, and we'll see you again in a few weeks' time.
Great, thank you guys.
Take one step down on the rostrum to chat to the driver who finishes at a second spot, the second home of the Porsches as well. Stewie he had a crack at going after Dean, but he just got out to such an early lead, and then from there he was just in cruise control. It looked like he was just in management. All right, accept P2, accept it when you can't win them, but make sure you do lock in that second place result.
Yeah, when I saw the quali times and he was 6/10 ahead of me, I was like, I'll be just happy to finish first in class here. P2's the best I can do with Dean at the moment. He's reminded me of Owen Coleman last season, just absolutely blitzing everyone.
Mate, challenging little old track this because obviously, bouncing all over the curbing, and they are gutter curbs down at turn 1, that sort of first complex, bunch of different spots in and around the track as well. So utilizing the track boundaries to the utmost does come at a grip penalty and a balance penalty sometimes if you're not careful as well.
Yeah, especially into turn 1, you need to get kind of straddle that curbing, but when you cross back over it, kind of still trail braking, it gets a bit touchy. So yeah, I was playing around with the brake bias the whole way and just making sure corner by corner I had it set because I remember in testing there was a few hairy moments.
Mate, next time out we're going to be heading to a lovely, beautiful French circuit of Magny-Cours. Done many laps there since its inception in iRacing, or is that one going to be a bit more of a challenge and working to try and bring the car up to speed?
I think the last time I drove there was in week 13 when it was introduced, so definitely have to jump back in and get some laps under the belt. It's I think we got 3 or 4 weeks in between rounds now, so yeah, a lot of practice will be had.
Mate, and finally, floor's all yours. Is there anyone that you would love to give a thank you or a shout out to?
Yeah, definitely. AITT, your contribution to the success of the team. It's been great at the moment, coming on board a couple of rounds ago. Sud Speed, Kibby, IR Sidekick, Bunny's Builds, and Sure by 4. So, yeah, thanks to everyone.
Mate, congratulations on the result tonight, and we'll see you again for the 1st of December round at Magny-Cours.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Finally, we're going to step down to the bottom step in terms of our elite class podium reign, mate. That was a tricky old race. You had to cut your way through the pack, and it was not easy. Tommy was definitely an issue in the early parts of that race.
Yeah, mate, he certainly was. I was trying to be a little bit cautious because I hadn't really done any practice leading into this. I'm not driving GT cars at the moment, so I just tried to ease into it a little bit. I knew because I'd done obviously plenty of Algarve last season in officials, so knew it would be not too bad once I got there. But Chapman and Tommy were holding us up a fair bit in the early stint, so that's pretty much where the race went for P1, P2 because they were up 7 seconds plus up the road by that point. So the pace with us three was pretty even. Dean had maybe a couple of tenths up the sleeve, but it was pretty even on the race runs point of view. We just couldn't close the gap, unfortunately, no matter how much saving I did.
Mate, it's challenging track, challenging everything. I mean, the difficulty of the pass around here, and I guess we really, really saw that was, Tommy was just able to just sort of prop you up. The switchback, not easy because a lot of the times when you do get that switchback, the corner goes back to favouring the other car again. So, hey, look, it's challenging. Did you actually think you overheated the tyres in that first phase of the race? Because there was a few times you had a crack at Tommy, and that sort of opened the door to the guys in behind you as well.
No, I didn't think so. I was managing the tyres. I was just sort of watching the temps, trying to keep them under sort of what I thought was about 1.92 was about when they started to overheat. But no, I was sort of easing into it in the first stint. I had a couple of cracks early on, and then once I got past him, obviously just drove away. So I was just trying to get a good opportunity to pass him. Once I sort of stuck the nose up on that sweeping left-hander, he sort of bailed out of that a little bit, and that's when I knew that I had to go from there. So first lap was pretty wild. I think I bombed it down the inside of 992 and my teammate, so that was pretty fun.
Finally, mate, floor is all yours to give a thank you to anyone you'd like to thank.
Yeah, thanks to the Twitchy Foot guys and everyone that sort of helps me with my racing. As I said, I'm not doing too much GT stuff at the moment. It's all Porsche Cup and slowly easing into V8s, but yeah.
Hey, congratulations, and we'll see you again on the 1st of December for Magni Core.
Cheers, guys.
And finally, we're going to get an opportunity to chat to our Challenger class winner. And Isaac, I tell you what, utter domination in terms of Challenger class tonight. You look like you were very, very comfortable behind the wheel of that one.
Cheers. Yeah, lately I haven't had a whole lot of time to practice, but had a day off today, so enough time to throw in a few laps and get comfortable enough behind the wheel at the track, and it turned out not too bad for me, so I'm pretty happy with the result.
Mate, cutting your way through it looked like you were just focusing on keeping yourself really, really clean, and that sort of really worked out exceptionally well for you.
Yeah, I just tried to keep my nose out of everything with the amount of penalties that we could hear coming through on the radio and that kind of thing. I just tried to avoid everything as much as I could, just keep it clean and just consistent laps. And I suppose it worked out not too bad, but yeah, onwards and upwards, I guess.
Mate, challenging track here tonight. Next time we're off to the French Circuit of Magny Cours. How are you feeling the challenge level with that one?
I haven't even looked at the track yet. I think I still have to buy it on iRacing. So I guess the next couple of weeks will be head down and see what I can learn about it. Hopefully we continue this streak, and hopefully we can come home at the end of the season looking not too bad in the Challenger class, but we'll see how it goes.
I can tell you she's a challenging old track in the wet, and well, this time of year anything can happen over in France. Mate, congratulations on the win tonight. Who would you like to thank?
Cheers very much. Just want to thank everyone from Revolution Esports. Heaps of support out of those guys for the last couple of months. AITT, Sudspeed, Kibby, IR Sidekick, Bunnies Builds, and Shore4. Thanks everyone for your support, and I look forward to chatting again soon.
Mate, congratulations, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Right, JP, that is going to bring us to the conclusion of things here tonight. I tell you what, the challenging little race, this one, but Premier Endurance League round number 5 is now in the books, and there are 2 more rounds left to finish us off here to the tail end of the season. Magny Cours, challenging track, fast flowing switchbacks, and that corner in the middle of the track where it just continues to double back on itself is very, very difficult. If you get a sprinkling of rain, it is going to be a nightmare.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. We've got Magny Cours on December 1st, and then we go to Watkins Glen, final round on December the 15th. But as you say, if you get it all wrong at Magny Cours and it's raining, you are going to be in trouble. That fast left-hander at the beginning is also going to be a little bit of a nightmare for some of these drivers as well. But this has been a good one. Round 5, not a banger, not a classic, just good.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we want to say a big shout out to the brands that assist us here tonight for our naming rights sponsor, Gamer Gear Direct. Big shout out to those guys for Sudspeed who come on board as the Gov sponsor as well. Print Racer Safety Car, if you're looking for any of those bits and pieces to assist the sim rig, you need to get in contact with Print Racer to get yourself something sorted. And Dash Off-Road as well. Come on board this season and been a huge part of the series as well, ladies and gents. It's been a pleasure to bring you all the racing action, but from tonight, your winner, Dean Mackay from Portimão, before we'll stay in Europe for the next race in a month's time. We'll see you all then for the Magny Cours 2 hours. Bye for now, not forever, and we'll see you again in a few weeks' time.